She's off. The corner shop is in sight. The National Lottery sign is there, and she's heading right for it. Look at Rebecca. She's making a real difference just by playing the National Lottery. Her numbers help fund Team GB and Paralympics GB athletes, powering their journey to Paris, one ticket at a time. Oh, just look at her go! Unbelievable stuff! Changing lives like it's a walk to the shops.
The National Lottery, changing lives every day. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
For fans of football and unmissable shows, get Sky Sports and Sky TV in Ultra HD and Netflix all for our lowest price. Hurry, the Premier League starts next week. Go to sky.com. Require Sky Sports, Sky Ultimate TV in UHD for £43 a month on a 24-month contract with a minimum broadband speed of 25 megabits per second. New Sky TV customers only, 18 plus, terms apply.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. Looking to sell your Audi? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation. It's game day, and this is the home of Scottish football. It's Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Good afternoon and welcome to Clyde One Super Scoreboard on match day 2 in the new Scottish League season. Hampden is home for Rangers as they welcome injury-hit Motherwell. Newly promoted Dundee United are at Ross County. Dundee Hearts is later, and there's a bumper card in the Championship. The rest of the top flight waits until tomorrow, including Celtic heading to Hibs. I'm Gordon Duncan, and joining me you have Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson and Hugh Keevins.
For me, the most manufactured controversy of the new season is whether or not Rangers are disadvantaged by playing at Hampden. We even had someone on Super Scoreboard last night who said the acoustics left Rangers disadvantaged. It's a football match, not a Taylor Swift concert. The acoustics have got nothing to do with it, as Motherwell will find out today. Makeshift Motherwell bang up against it because Philippe Clement wants Hampden to be the springboard for Rangers against Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday night at the National Stadium. The Champions League at stake.
Yeah, week 2 and there's already plenty of intrigue in the fixtures this afternoon, and Hugh's right to mention Rangers versus Motherwell at Hampden. Motherwell not off to a great start and plenty of injuries, but Rangers obviously got their own issues, and you just wonder how they managed the home game being at Hampden. Dundee United looked impressive in spells last week, but how will they manage on the road away to Ross County? Dundee Hearts later I think will be a cracker, and then over to tomorrow. Hibs looked so weak last week, Celtic looked so strong. How's that one going to pan out? A great weekend ahead.
Yeah, it was a slow burner last Saturday to get us up and running, but I think things will change this afternoon. Gordon, some great fixtures there, plenty of goals, and you quite rightly say a lot of good games down the Championship and down the leagues.
We waited all summer for this. We missed it. We had 1 week to get us back into the swing of things. Let's see what today has in store. You can stay in touch all afternoon at Clyde SSB. I'll invite you to get in touch on the phones a bit later, but before then, plenty of big match build-up. Let's go to the National Stadium, the home of Rangers for now. Motherwell, the visitors, and the man taking in sort of new surroundings is Andrew McLean.
Yeah, you actually have to sit here and remind yourself that this isn't a Scottish Cup final, Scottish Cup semi-final, final, something similar to that as well. Walking along from the car into the National Stadium, the sun's shining, the fans are turning out in their numbers. It really does have a different feel to most league games that I've ever covered, but we'll see whether that has an impact on the players on the pitch at all. No timescale, of course, on how long it will be that Rangers are due to play here, but it will be important that the players try and get used to their new surroundings as quickly as possible as they look for their first competitive win of the season. Of course, it was a point away at Tynecastle last weekend, and then a last minute equaliser against Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday. Philippe Clement says he's seeing week on week improvements. He was happy with a lot of what he saw in Tuesday's match, but wins surely need to start coming as of today for Rangers, up against a Motherwell side who weren't overly impressive in a draw at home to Ross County that I watched last weekend, and as you mentioned, they also have their injury issues. We'll look at team news. 2 changes for Rangers. Out go Balogun and McCausland, 2 coming in. Very interesting. Robin Proper comes in for his first Rangers appearance. He's ready to go, and Václav Černý came off the bench midweek, got that assist for Cyril Desser's equaliser He's in for his first start, so it will be Jack Butland in goal. The back four: James Tavernier, John Souttar, Robin Proper and Ridvan Yilmaz. It will be Connor Barron and Mohamed Diamandi, the two holding midfielders. Václav Černý, Tom Lawrence and Scott Wright in behind Cyril Dessers. The substitutes: Kelly, Matondo, Dowell, Sterling, Balogun, Jeffrey, King, McCausland and Danilo. Motherwell, as we mentioned, have their injury issues. Out go Blaney, Robinson and Abiye. In come Seddon, McGinn and Stamatolopoulos. Lennon Miller is fit though and starts despite concerns about his fitness. However, try and make sense of this. I'll list players by position and you in the studio can try and work out exactly what Stuart Kettlewell is doing with this team. In goal, Aston Oxborough. There are then 6 defenders listed in Stephen O'Donnell, Dan Casey, Liam Gordon, Paul McGinn, Steve Seddon and Ewan Wilson. Surely one of them needs to be slotting into midfield. The 3 midfielders: Davor Dravkovsky, Andy Halliday and Lennon Miller. It's then Apostolos Stamatolopoulos leading the line in his first start for his new club. The substitutes: Heggie, Balmer, Sparrow, Robinson, Coletta, Abiye, Wells, Ross and Ferry. The referee here at the National Stadium is Kevin Clancy. The VAR is Stephen McLean.
Well, I think Rangers fans on Clyde One Super Scoreboard all week have wanted to see Robin Proper start a game. They've wanted to see Václav Černý start a game. They get their wish today.
Yeah, I think it's the right decision. The only thing I will say, I watched the game the other night there. I thought Balogun played very, very well, and I think he'll feel a little bit unlucky. But Proper's been brought in there, good experience. Well said that he should have played on Tuesday night, but the manager's decided to wait to today. Černý, I think there's something about him. I think he's got good ability. I think he'll give Motherwell problems. And just listen to the Motherwell personnel. There's a strong rumour going about that the bus driver's reversing the parts of Hamilton bus as we speak.
Yeah, I think for Rangers and the fans, a new season, you want to see new signings, and especially when it's not gone so well. So pre-season hasn't gone to plan. Obviously last week Rangers fans disappointed with the result at Tynecastle. And then you've got these guys that are not up to speed or were heard are not up to speed. So they're desperate to see them. I think it's the right choice from Philippe Clement to put Proper in. I think you can see that that's a problem area for Rangers, that centre half position. But Černý as well, you know, they've had their problems in the wide areas. Surprised Scott Wright still keeping his place. I mean, he's the great survivor, but he's got a job in his hands because Matondo's on the bench today. But I think it's a positive team selection from Philippe Clement.
I think Černý will turn out to be one of the most inspired signings of the season. He really does look to have something about him, and he'll terrorise Motherwell. In the shape of Robin Proper, I think the Rangers fans are looking for a figurehead at the back, a Richard Gough, a Terry Butcher, someone of that stature. And he's got the backstory to suggest that he can come into Scottish football and be a significant figure for Rangers. In answer to Andrew's question about what this Motherwell team out, it's a damage limitation team. It's a team to try and keep it to 2 or 3 instead of 5 or 6.
He's already gone early.
Yeah,
Big predictions for the new season.
So what you're really saying there is you're not giving Motherwell much hope this afternoon.
Not an earthly.
Rangers haven't won a game of football in a while though. Do you take that into consideration at all?
Well, I don't, because no.
Fair enough.
I don't, because of the circumstances today. As I say, they're looking for a springboard into Dynamo Kiev. They will have 50,000 there, and they have something about them in the shape of Černý. Dessers.
You've gone early on Černý. Have we seen that much? I mean, it's a great cross during the week. Other than that, what have we seen? Apart from that cross, what have we seen so far?
He looks quality to me.
Based on,
well, we'll wait and see if I'm right or wrong.
No, that's not. I'm asked about what you've seen so far.
But yeah,
we're not
that's
talking
it.
predictions
Based on what
anymore.
I've seen so far, he looks a natural.
Give Proper 10 minutes and he'll have him player of the year.
No. Anyway, you're all very smart.
I'm not saying anything to you.
We'll wait and see how the game goes. But
I simply asked you to see it's a genuine question. There is nothing attached to it. What have you seen from Černý so far? Tell us. That's all.
First time he touched the ball at Tynecastle, and the way he goes about his business, you think, he's a cut above. So
wow,
his warm up, his stretches were good.
Anyway,
Andrew McLean, give us the anything interesting about it being at Hampden. Is it as it would be for a Scotland game, for a cup final? How have Rangers adopted this place as home for now?
Yeah, I think Rangers have tried to follow the Scottish FA's blueprint as closely as possible when they are hosting, whether it is international games, whether it is, cup semi-finals, finals. As I am in the main stand at the moment, I look over to my left, the pocket of Motherwell fans will be over there where the away international fans tend to sit. If you are a regular Hampden goer for Scotland international games, you'll know exactly where I mean at the moment. Over to my left, in which is the traditional Rangers end at Hampden, is where the Union Bears are housed at the moment. But as I say, they've got their own branding in here, which they'll have to do for sponsorship reasons outside the stadium. They've got big Rangers FC banners. It remains to be seen. It's still a while to go before kick-off, whether there is any issues in terms of getting in and out of the stadium. That'll be something that will need to be worked out and ironed out. I'm told that they've lucked out when it comes to hospitality, because apparently the hospitality rooms at Hampden pretty much match up perfectly with the ones at Ibrox, so they've just renamed the hospitality rooms what they are named at Ibrox. So some things have taken meticulous planning, some things have maybe come a bit more down to luck, but Rangers will certainly be hoping that it goes smoothly today, because we don't know the timescale on it yet. John Bennett has said that he hopes Rangers will be back at Ibrox by the end of September, aspire to be back by then, but we won't know until I think a wee while if it's going to be a bit longer than that.
Well, going to be an interesting afternoon at the National Stadium, I'm sure. Let's go to our other Premiership match this afternoon. It's Dingwall for Roger Hannah. Dundee United making the trip as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, Gordon. County were perfect in their League Cup group after Don Cowie's appointment as boss on a permanent basis, and they started the Premiership campaign with a decent 0-0 draw down at Motherwell last weekend. It's a promising beginning for the Staggies after back-to-back 11th place finishes and escapes through the playoffs. Cowie's brought in 9 players this summer and 5 start the first home league game of the season. There's no Ricky Lamy, Charlie Telford, Jack Hamilton, 3 of the better known incomers. I presume they're injured, but there is 4 changes from that third part draw. Leak, Brown, Laturi and White all go to the bench. Incoming Fetty, Allardyce, Denham and Brophy. It looks as if the captain Conor Randall's going to drop into a back 3, so we think County will go with Ross Laidlaw in goal, back 3 of Akil Wright, Conor Randall and Will Nightingale. Across the middle, Michie Fetty, Scott Allardyce, Jack Greaves, Aidan Denham and George Harman, with Ronan Hale partnered by Eamon Brophy on the bench. Ross, Brown and Leak, Laturi, Chivers and Samuel, White, Reid and Robeston. United also qualified from the Cup group stages despite a defeat to Falkirk. They played their part in a thrilling 2-2 derby draw with Dundee at Tannadice last Sunday. I know you enjoyed that one, Gordon. There are 10 newcomers for Jim Goodwin from the squad that won the championship title, and 7 start, including a debut for Emmanuel Adebayoga, a centre-back on loan from Norwich City. He said yesterday he'd been convinced to come north by his pal Adam Ida. It'll be interesting to see if Ida follows him to the Premiership this month. He is currently playing for Norwich and currently losing at Oxford United. Adebayoga today comes in for Ross Graham, and the only change from that derby draw, which means United have Jack Walton in goal. At the back, Emmanuel Adebayoga, Declan Gallagher and Kevin Holt. Across the middle, Vico Savell, Craig Sibbald, David Babunski and Will Ferry, with Miller Thompson and Christian Trapanovsky behind Jort van der Sande. On the bench, it's Richards, Odada and Graham Moult, Middleton and Fotheringham, Stirton, Harden and Misha Ubuchioma, who could also make a debut if he comes off the bench today after his midweek arrival from Hungarian football. I was here for United's last visit, a 4-0 defeat 18 months ago when Eamon Brophy's double dropped them closer to relegation. They are back. I was also here for their last win in Dingwall when Nicky Clark scored a late double in a 2-1 triumph back in May 2022. Jim Goodwin will be hoping for something similar today. Our referee is Craig Napier, the VAR is Gavin Duncan, and the rain is stopped and the sun's come through.
Another one to look forward to in the Premiership at this stage of the season. European qualifiers tend to mean lots of Sunday fixtures. Add TV selections into that, and that is your lot for 3 o'clock on a Saturday at the moment. But what it does do is give us the chance to shine the light on the Championship, which should be as tight as ever this season. Let's go to the Gordon DL derby. Raith Rovers against Partick Thistle, and David Friel is there.
Yeah, Gordon, the DL derby indeed. I think a couple of weeks ago this game would have been all about the promotion race, but Raith went and made it all about the sack race. Ian Murray lasted just 1 game of the Championship season. His dismissal last weekend, I think it came as a bit of a shock to everybody. I like Ian, I think he's done a really good job here. I think it was a bit harsh, but Raith obviously had their reasons. He only signed a 3-year deal in December. He got to play-off final last term, and I think this club seemed to be on the up with Ian at the helm. But there's going to be a change. Raith want a change. They're looking for a new manager just now. There's a couple of names been mentioned: Darren Nadee from Celtic, Dermot DeCarroll, St Mirren's number 2. Both have been on a wanted list. Looks like both won't be taking the job. There's a lot of names getting a mention. My good friend Paul Petrie at McBookie tells me that Gordon Dalziel is a generous 100-1 to make a triumphant return in the dugout. Please gamble responsibly and all that, but could that be worth a punt? DL back for a stint as manager again. John Potter, he's the technical director at Raith. He will take interim charge of the team today alongside Colin Cameron. They lost Airdrie last weekend. That cost Ian Murray his job. Well, Thistle had a goalless home draw with Morton, so I think it's clear both sides want to get off the mark with a win today. They played each other 6 times last season, including that memorable playoff semi-final, 3 each. On aggregate, Raith won in penalties. It's going to be another cracker again today. It's windswept here, very, very windy. Let's hope it's interesting. In terms of the teams, Lewis Vaughan and Callum Fordyce miss out for Raith. Aidan Connolly is benched. They only actually can name 5 subs. A bit of an injury crisis going on at Raith just now. No changes at all for Partick. I'll just run through the teams for you. Kevin Dabrowski in goals for Raith. Ross Matthews, Ewan Murray, Liam Dick and Lewis Stevenson across the back. Sam Stanton, Sean Byrne will anchor the midfield with Lewis Gibson, Josh Mullen, Dylan Easton and Callum Smith as the front 4. Subs for Raith, as I said, they can only name 5. It's McNeil, Freeman, Connolly, Montague and Nicholson. As for Partick, no changes at all. Miles Robertson goals, Waziri Williams, Luke Macbeth, Dan O'Reilly and Harry Millen at the back. Robbie Crawford and Kyle Turner are the deepest midfielders, with Logan Chalmers, Scott Robinson and Aidan Fitzpatrick in behind Brian Graham. Subs for Partick Thistle are McCready, Sayers, Ashcroft, Stanway, Lyon, Mackenzie and Diak. The referee at Starts Park is Peter Stewart.
Another one to look forward to, real intrigue surrounding that anyway, and then you add in the managerial situation, as David Friel quite rightly points out. Another cracker. I would like to be there. I know this game gets big crowds. There's a famous rivalry on the go at East End Park, Dunfermline and Falkirk. Fraser Wishart is there.
Yeah, looking forward to this one. I think there's an argument for this game being the game of the day. Gordon, as you were saying there's a real edge to the rivalry between these two clubs. I'm not sure why. It was even there when I played for Falkirk in the 90s and we were in different divisions, but whatever the reason, there'll be a huge crowd here today and the Falkirk fans are beginning to fill the stand to the right hand side for what is probably a bigger game for Dunfermline. Homeside not had a good start to the season. Their only victory in League Cup group was against the Spartans, followed by 3 defeats, 2 at home to Cove and Forfar Athletic. That was followed by defeat in the opening league game against Livingston, although I gather they played much better in that game. But defeat today would mean 5 in a row, and of course the pressure starts to build in modern day football, with David talking about Ian Murray losing his job. James McPake and the players will begin to feel the heat from the supporters as well. Falkirk, in complete contrast, have just continued their form and taken the momentum from their undefeated League One campaign last season into the start of this one. They've qualified through the League Cup group stages, have a last 16 match at home to Hearts, live on TV next Saturday. A big game. You had victory over Queen's Park in their opening league game last weekend, and everything is rosy down Falkirk ways, and how their supporters would love to put one over their fierce rivals. Yesterday over 2,600 tickets were sold. They were selling some more this morning, so you expect to be closer to 3k Falkirk fans here today. And with Dunfermline selling a lot of tickets as well, there could be 7,000 to 8,000 supporters in the ground today for what promises to be a noisy, exciting game. Really looking forward to this one, although it's very windy. I just hope that doesn't spoil the game. But even if it does, I'm sure the atmosphere around the ground will be absolutely electric. 2 changes for Dunfermline from that defeat at Livingston. Kieran Ngwenya is injured and young Taylor Southern drops to the bench. In come Joe Chalmers and Chris Kane. I think there's a change of formation to a 3-4-3. Dennis Mehmet is going to be in goals. The back 3 of Sam Fisher, Kyle Benedictus and Chris Hamilton. 4 across the middle, Aaron Comrie, David Witherspoon, Joe Chalmers and Ewan O'Toole, with Kane, Richie Hosler, Lewis McCann and Craig Whiten. Up front, Lewis Briggs, Rhys Breen, Chris Kane, Michael O'Halloran, Taylor Sutherland, Sam Young, Andy Todd, Ewan McLeod and Freddie Rowe are on the bench. No surprise that there's no changes for Falkirk after their good start to the season and their win against Queen's Park. They go 4-2-3-1 formation. Nicky Hogarth in goals, Keelan Adams, Liam Henderson, Cole Donaldson and Sean Mackey at the back. 2 in midfield are Brad Spencer and Dylan Tate, Callum Morrison, Gary Oliver and Calvin Miller behind the lone striker Ross McKeever. With the substitutes for Falkirk, Owen Hayward, Finn Yates, Leon McCann, Aidan Nesbitt, Alfredo Aguiman, Ryan Shanley, Ethan Ross, Logan Sinclair and Caelan McCrone. And the referee today at a busy East End Park is Matthew McDermott.
Plenty to look forward to across the 3 o'clock kickoffs at this stage on a Saturday. We tend to take a look at the week's biggest talking points, and we will do that next.
And She's off. The corner shop is in sight. The National Lottery sign is there, and she's heading right for it. Look at Rebecca. She's making a real difference just by playing the National Lottery. Her numbers help fund Team GB and Paralympics GB athletes, powering their journey to Paris, one ticket at a time. Oh, just look at her go! Unbelievable stuff! Changing lives like it's a walk to the shops.
The National Lottery, changing lives every day. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
For fans of football and unmissable shows, get Sky Sports and Sky TV in Ultra HD and Netflix all for our lowest price. Hurry, the Premier League starts next week. Go to sky.com. Require Sky Sports, Sky Ultimate TV in UHD for £43 a month on a 24-month contract with a minimum broadband speed of 25 megabits per second. New Sky TV customers only, 18 plus, terms apply.
Looking to get car or van insurance double quick? Go! To mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. Car or van, work or play. Compare insurance with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel and Mark Wilson are in the studio. We've got the top team round the grounds as we get ready for the second match day in the new SPFL season. Often at this stage on a Saturday, once we've given you team news, which we have, we take a look at some of the week's biggest talking points. Generally in August, that focuses, it centres around the transfer window. But Roger Hanna, certainly with Glasgow's big two, absolutely no respect for this show whatsoever. Not a single signing since this time last week.
Well, no, but the last one, Václav Černý, has already got a new president of his fan club. I hear he's made a big impression on Hugh. I think Rangers will make more signings. It may well be dictated by the success or otherwise on Tuesday night against Dynamo Kiev. There will be a £4 million prize on offer for whoever gets through to take on either Salzburg or Twente in the playoff round, and many millions more if Rangers can somehow navigate a path into this new look Champions League group stage. Celtic, I would imagine Adam Idah would be at Celtic Park by the time we do the show next weekend. Gordon, he came off the bench for the last half hour as Norwich lost 2-0 at Oxford United this afternoon. Doesn't look as if he's going to be a first choice down there under the new manager. Brendan Rodgers yesterday was quite open in the fact that he wanted to get this deal over the line. He's got a couple of goalies, he's got Paulo Bernardo, and I think once the Adam Idah deal is done, Brendan Rodgers will then have a very close eye on what's happening down south in terms of Premier League squads, movement among Premier League teams. The big clubs are beginning to do deals. Ange Postecoglou forked out something in excess of £60 million this morning to land Dominic Solanke from Bournemouth. So money is beginning to change hands, and Celtic and Rangers will be involved.
Yeah, I mean, the Adam Idah thing, Mark Wilson, he, as Roger said, he came on for Norwich. Clearly not all is well at Norwich because they lost to Oxford United today, which would have been seen as a bit of a blow. But I wonder if reports of Adam Idah sort of downing tools and forcing things maybe a bit premature, because one of his teammates went to the manager today and said he couldn't play amid speculation about his future. That wasn't the case for Adam Idah. He was in the squad, he did come on. Is it a matter of time? It certainly looks like more bids have gone in. Brendan Rodgers said yesterday talks are ongoing.
Yeah, it would certainly look like it's a matter of time, but we've been saying that for an awful long time. It's going to be a matter of time. Look, you'd like to think Brendan Rodgers is a bit relaxed about it and knows where it's going, but of course it's never done until it's actually done. You see him holding a scarf above his head. I don't like players saying that they're not prepared to play because of speculation, and I think any Celtic fan will be quite happy to actually see Adam Idah involved, and that's not the case with him, because you want a player who's come into the club off the back of a good pre-season and being involved in actually competitive football to come in and supplement your squad. It's no use bringing a player in and you say, oh, he needs 3 weeks to get up to speed now because he's been sitting doing nothing at Norwich. So he looks like he's in a good place. It's just up to the clubs to decide that fee.
It's certainly dragging on. I totally agree with that. But I think Idah will be in the building. He'll probably be next week. And I think that Rodgers right. I think that Brendan Rodgers will have his eye on other targets as well, because he needs to bolster the squad. There's no doubt about that. He needs different players in for different positions, and even if he does lose someone like Matt O'Reilly, and I'm sure the Celtic fans are hoping that's not going to be the case, I think there'll be a bit of work done. I totally take on board, and Hughes went on about it for weeks and weeks, that the work should have been done and everything done earlier. Yeah, I think everybody would have preferred that if you're involved with Celtic, but sometimes these things are dragging out, and certainly Adam Meada is dragging out, but I think that will be done.
That one was always going to take a bit longer, Hugh, because Norwich's new manager was going to have a look. Celtic were never signing him the day after the cup final, but people were maybe looking at clues today. You know, would he be left out of the Norwich squad altogether? The answer is no, and he came off the bench, like we said.
Celtic are on a collision course with their own support. When the Champions League packages are announced, and I understand they'll be in the region of £200, supporters will say the team, the squad, is not even as strong as it was at the end of last season. Why? Why, when Celtic have so much money? And based on what we know, Brendan Rodgers, and before him Ange Postecoglou, and before Ange Postecoglou Brendan Rodgers the first time around, Celtic in Europe have been stagnating for years. But here come the packages with a squad that is no stronger than it was last season. It is utterly mystifying. The supporters are beyond mystification now. They are seriously agitated. You ask any Celtic fan, their number one question to you is, when are the club going to sign anyone? For me, not everything in life or football is about football. It's about money. But Celtic have an awful lot of money. By Scottish standards, Celtic have an incredible amount of money, and nothing has been spent on outfield players. And we're 11 weeks now. Gordon's right, I keep counting the weeks. 11 weeks since the cup final. Not an outfield player. And Brendan Rodgers approaching the Champions League with a squad that will not cut it there at all.
Fraser, this is more of a general point, I think, not necessarily looking to project this solely onto Celtic. You'll see this with your PFA Scotland hat on. Generally, is the transfer market slowing down a bit? Is there a kind of knock-on effect from England and elsewhere? It just feels like, and we saw this a bit in January, that there's just not really the same speed of movement as there used to be.
Yeah, and there's also financial fair play rules, Gordon, that come into play. Not only in England, in the Premier League, you've seen Everton and Forest be deducted points, but also for the teams that play in Europe, there's a limit to how much they can spend on their salaries as well, and I think that's just taking a bit of time to settle. I mean, Liverpool haven't signed anybody at all this summer, so it's been a bit slower in England, and that's where I think the momentum will pick up towards the end of the transfer window. It always does. If there's a standoff between two clubs about a transfer fee, they come closer together when it comes towards the transfer window. And that's when deals get done, and that's why they get done at the last minute. There'll also be a reassessment by English clubs because they can only register 25 players to play in the Premier League. So things will change quickly, but I think Hugh's made some good points about Celtic in Europe, and Rangers have to sign players to win the league from Celtic. Celtic, I think the squad is strong enough to win the league this year, but they have European ties. They have 8 Champions League ties, maybe, hopefully 10 if they can get into the playoffs, at least 10. And that's going to take its toll on the players, on the squad. Adam Meada makes perfect sense. He fits into the squad. They know he can score goals. He knows the team. He knows the supporters. So he makes sense. But they're going to need more players than that to sort of juggle playing in all these competitions. I think it'll happen. I think you'll see a flurry of signings in the last couple of weeks, all over the UK. There'll be signings, and I think the last day of the transfer window will be very, very interesting as clubs just look to get players out the door. But it's been slow in England because of the financial fair play rules, and that has to be considered, because once that starts to move, that's when it frees Championship players and Premiership players for Rangers and Celtic to perhaps sign.
The other side of things, of course, is keeping your best players. David Friel, every day it's a new club linked with Matt O'Reilly, although in fact it's been Brighton for a couple of days now. No one else has come out of the woodwork yet. Celtic clearly don't need to sell him, and they don't want to. That doesn't mean they won't. So what do you think about that situation as it stands today?
Yeah, I don't think Matt O'Reilly, and Brendan Rodgers said as much yesterday, is agitating to get away. I think he knows that if a good career opportunity comes up, Gordon, then he will be inclined to take it. But I don't think he'll just move for any club. You know, I don't think it's a case that if Celtic's valuation is met, Matt O'Reilly will necessarily go. So does he see his future in England? Does he see his future abroad? Obviously Atalanta won't go away. Atletico Madrid were interested in January, so I do expect Matt O'Reilly to probably go, because I think there's enough interest in enough good clubs coming in for him, and that will just intensify in the last couple of weeks. But you know, I don't think he's in a rush to go, and I don't think you can ever, we spoke earlier about professionalism of players, I don't think you can ever accuse Matt O'Reilly of that. I think he's been outstanding in pre-season and last week. So I think Celtic have got a really good player in their hands, a good pro in their hands, and I think it will have to suit everybody for him to move on.
That's the key point, Mark Wilson. Everyone seems to be feeling like it's inevitable, but it's not unless a club matches what Celtic want to let them go for.
And Celtic should be strong about this. If Celtic are waiting on this domino effect before they can sign players, why should they be first to just take the first offer that comes along? So there's every right just to wait out for the valuation that you think he's worth, and he certainly is worth that. When you see players moving down south, I get the league, but Brendan Rodgers, he was right in speaking out. It's the value of the player, not the league and what he does. And Matt O'Reilly's worth every penny of that. He's only going to get better. So you're probably looking at 20 million plus.
Can I remind you of that? If Celtic go and sign someone else from Japan for £1 million, well, I say it's the player, not the league. Shouldn't be bidding that low for players.
Well,
can I remind you that?
It doesn't work that way, does it?
Doesn't suit the argument. I've been hanging out with Hugh Keevins too long.
No, I just find Celtic's recruitment policy mystifying. Adam Eder.
Talking about Matt O'Reilly now, though, what do you think about his likelihood?
Quite straightforward. If Celtic get the money they want, he's off. Doesn't bother Celtic where he goes. Why should it? They don't have him anymore. So it's someone who pays the 25 million and maybe more that gets Matt O'Reilly. Is that
the fee it would take, do you think?
I think Celtic have the 25 million fee in mind. And the first one to satisfy that demand will get the player. The juggling act here is that the timing of O'Reilly's move had better coincide with you having enough time to get somebody good in, because if you're talking about a Champions League about to begin with no Matt O'Reilly and no one of decent stature brought in, then you're in trouble. Even bigger trouble than you're in already.
Yeah, in terms of Rangers, Roger Hannah, the fans were on vociferous during the week, suggesting that, asking why is Czerny not starting, why is Proper not starting. They start today. The Rangers have a juggling act, though, because the old cliche about one game at a time might not necessarily apply this week when you're trying to manage a squad for Tuesday.
Well, they certainly do have a juggling act, Gordon, because I think if they get through on Tuesday, it's 5 games at Hampden in 15 days. And as Philip Clement was explaining yesterday, that's just too much for a lot of the guys. I think Václav Černý said they did 6 training sessions after a 4-week holiday and just simply hasn't been ready to start games or complete a 90 minutes in games. I presume Robin Proper has been the same, albeit he'll start today. It'll be interesting to see if the two of them actually complete the full 90 against Motherwell today ahead of a critical game back at Hampden against Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday night. So I think he will rotate the squad. Rangers have a very heavy fixture list compared to Celtic at the start this month. They've got the League Cup next weekend against St Johnstone live in the telly. They will hope to have either Salzburg or Twente at Hampden the following Tuesday, and then Ross County in the league, and that's all before a date at Celtic Park on the 1st of September. So it is a bit of a juggling act, it is a bit of a rotation act. I think Philip Clement will utilise 5 substitutes, all the ones he can off the bench again today, and just protect everyone as best they can. The interesting thing for me, though, is Cyril Dessers, who scored that goal at the death in Lublin on Tuesday, never seems to get a rest. I'm not quite sure what that says about Danilo's fitness or readiness to come into the Rangers team.
There are loads of rumours even for Rangers at the moment in terms of incomings. Roger, is that all kind of quieting down a bit? Can you see Rangers adding any time soon, or does attention focus now on what happens to Yanis Hadji, what happens to Todd Cantwell?
Oh, it depends your definition of soon. I can't see them adding anybody before Tuesday night. Certainly they wouldn't be able to play in the second leg anyway, Gordon, because they weren't registered before the first leg. I think they'll probably wait and see what happens against Kiev. There's then another UEFA registration deadline that they can add to the squad prior to the playoff round. So I think the ones who are there will be the ones who are still there on Tuesday. Hadji, I thought would have been gone by now. Cantwell, there's not exactly a long list of suitors for him, but could anyone be surprised at that? I think Clement and Niels Coppin will be desperate to get the two of them out of the building before the end of the month.
Quick look at other transfer business doing the rounds. Hibs have been busy this week, I suppose. Bojan Mijovski, David Friel, that's probably the other biggest story, if you like. He's still an Aberdeen player. He was training. His manager says he's still there. He's still training. He was part of the shape, the set pieces that they did. Is it a matter of time before he departs?
Yeah, I think it probably is, but we spoke about the magic number for Matt O'Reilly. I think Aberdeen also have a magic number for Bojan Mijovski, but he's been shown the golden ticket with Girona. I mean, Girona have come in, Champions League club within the City group. What a part of the world to go and live in. It'd be an unbelievable move for Bojan Mijovski, but Aberdeen want to go and rate. They don't want to sell him just because he wants to go there. They won't sell him for a knockdown fee, so I think he'll be pushing to get that one through, because to me, of all the clubs that have been linked with him, that's the one that stands out. But Aberdeen, Alan Burrows, Dave Cormack up there are well within their rights to ask for £5-6 million I think it is they're looking for. I think Girona have only offered 4 so far, so I would expect that to get done. But I think if it doesn't happen, then Aberdeen are going to have an unhappy player in their books.
Always unhappy as Duke. He's gone wherever he is. I don't know. He's still able.
Yeah. Do you know something? You're talking about Matt O'Reilly there, 20-25 million, and rightly so. I totally agree with all that. Mijovski, 6 million. I'd snap your hand off for 6 million for him. I think I watched him the other night. I know it's St Johnstone away from home. He's link up play, everything about him. He's 24, run about that age.
He's an international footballer.
6 million is a snippet. I think Aberdeen would sell him cheap at 6 million. I would not be letting a centre forward who's capable of banging in the goals and playing the way he is and developing into a better player go for £6 million.
Given that Celtic need another striker, if not 2, because Kyogo's the only one in the house. Would you be surprised that Celtic made no inquiry at all about Mijovski?
Yeah, but yes, I would be, because as I go back to it, I think he's one of the best strikers in Scottish football. I think he'll only get better, Hugh. I think we're a better team, no disrespect to Aberdeen. I think Aberdeen started well. I thought they were very good against St Johnstone. But Mijovski's a terrific talent, and he's at the right age. He's a goal scorer. He's got everything in his locker. £6 million. I totally agree with you. I'm very surprised that.
But they would have done before now if they were going to.
Oh yeah,
it's a long time.
No. We're saying I'm surprised that they've not had a wee dabble at the fact that Mijovski's available.
Well, we can park that for now, because it's all about the players that are here. We've got a big day ahead in the Scottish Premiership and beyond, and we go back round the grounds next.
The team with the biggest support in Glasgow and the West. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Building up to kick off, about 15 minutes to go at the National Stadium, the home of Rangers for the next couple of weeks at least. Andrew McLean is there, probably feels fairly familiar to you, Andrew, having done Scotland games and cup games and all the rest of it. For the Rangers players, some of them will have seen it before, some of them won't, I guess.
Yeah, well, Philip Clement was actually asked about this yesterday in his pre-match press conference. He was asked whether he was going to take the players along to Hampden during the week, whether he had done, to have a look at the surroundings, because of course there are a lot of players in this squad that have either been brought in or just haven't had experience of Hampden. But he said no, he didn't feel there was really any value in that at all. It was just a case of coming here and playing the game. He said that he was going to come along and take a look at the pitch himself, but he hadn't been feeling too well during the week. But he did send staff along. There's been sort of liaising between the Rangers ground staff and the Hampden ground staff. The pitch does look in very good condition. There were of course question marks about that, how it would hold up, because it was originally meant to get completely ripped up ahead of the new season. But Rangers have paid some money to make sure that the pitch is in good order. But yeah, the players out there warming up at the moment, and I suppose the players that haven't even played at Ibrox yet, the likes of Robin Proper, the likes of Václav Černý, they probably won't really know any different. They'll just come along into this game thinking, well, this is my new home environment for the next however long, 2 months, 3 months potentially, could be even longer than that, and they just need to treat it that way. But the one thing that I think will be vital for those players out there is to get as comfortable as possible with their surroundings and to try and get off to that winning start, because not having won in a good few games when you go back into pre-season as well, where Rangers did have their troubles, they'll need to get that first win on the board. And you'd think if they can get off to a good start here at Hampden, it will certainly ease them into what could have been a turbulent couple of months moving away from Ibrox, but they'll try their best to make sure that it doesn't turn out that way.
You made it pretty clear last night, Hugh. You don't see this as being any sort of disadvantage or whatever the word is to Rangers.
No, you think they were asked to play in the moon? I mean, they're going to a ground that's 3 miles along the road from their own. You've got Andrew's word for it. The pitch is in good order. They're football players. I mean, they will have to play in places like Dingwall or last season on Livy's awful pitch, and now they have to play in Kilmarnock's awful pitch. What is wrong with everyone? This is the National Stadium. You're playing a severely depleted Motherwell. You use it to build confidence for Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday night back at the National Stadium. This is a manufactured controversy.
Is it a disadvantage for Tuesday night then? I understand. I fancy Rangers to win. I think everybody does at Hampden. You would imagine that, right?
Yeah.
Because Rangers have been there so many times. Flip that to Tuesday night. Is that a disadvantage for them?
The only disadvantage that Rangers face on Tuesday night is
they're not playing at Ibrox.
A strong. No, I mean, I do understand that it would have been better for Rangers had they been playing at Ibrox, because on European nights it's a special place. However, through Rangers' own fault, Ibrox is closed, so they have to go on with it. Their only disadvantage will be the quality of the opposition. I don't think Dynamo Kiev played to their maximum against Rangers in the first leg. Maybe that will be the case in the second leg. We will find out. But the actual physical structure of the National Stadium, all of this is a manufactured controversy.
Mark, if you were a player, when you were a player at Celtic, if you were told your home games were going to be at Hampden instead of Celtic Park, would you see it as a disadvantage?
I would. I think me as a player personally, I think I would be more uncomfortable playing at Hampden than I would at Celtic Park, and I think the Rangers players will be the same. While I agree with Daz, I think we can all agree Rangers are overwhelming favourites to win the game.
That's
but
really
you'd
not
much.
The point, though, is
no,
it? I keep hearing that.
Yeah.
That isn't the point. Rangers could go and play Motherwell in the car park; they would be favourites.
Yeah.
That's not what we're asking. It's never going to be enough.
But with a home stadium comes your comforts and where you're used to the environment that you control yourself. Going to an external stadium that's out with your control, I think, is to a slight disadvantage. Of course, that's the whole point of home stadiums, that you play in your home stadium where you're comfortable and where you have got an advantage.
Otherwise the phrase home advantage would never have been
but we have
introduced.
to take the circumstances into account here. The home stadium is closed because of a rebuilding programme that has gone very wrong.
But that's the disadvantage bit that people are referring to.
But they're lucky to have Hampden. They're lucky to have the National Stadium
as the next best thing.
Yeah, because Murrayfield, I could see Murrayfield where fans are immediately agitated by the thought they've got to pay to go to Edinburgh to see a home game. England, as Clement spoke about yesterday, would never ever have happened. So they're very fortunate they've got the National Stadium just along the road. And I do understand that people aren't sitting where they normally sit, and they're sitting in an area where they might get the rain on them. But Rangers cannot meet the individual demands of 50,000 supporters. They're trying their best. It's their fault to begin with. Now they're trying to minimise the damage that they have caused. But for the football players on the park, surely as a pro, you respond to the circumstances and you simply get on with it.
To be fair, you've got one standing right next to you who's telling you he would have seen it as a slight disadvantage.
But I come back to the point. If Rangers had been ordered to play at Hampden because of some
but
dispute,
again, you're just Mark has literally just told you that as a player he would, even if it was 1%, 5%, he would see it as a disadvantage. He's standing right there and you're saying you can't see how anyone could say that.
Well,
he's there.
I think there will be members of the Rangers squad who feel the same. I don't think they'll be expecting anybody to feel sorry for them or think that they'll be unprofessional and going about their business or think they're lesser favourites to win. But I think guys like, say, James Tavernier, who's been at the club a long time, who's had many hundreds of good games at Ibrox and comfortable playing in that environment, he would much rather play at Ibrox than Hampden for his league games.
Roger Hannah is now here at least, and it's one of those things, to be fair to whether it's Hugh's side or anyone else, we'll never really know. If Rangers win or lose today, you'll never know. You'll never be able to prove the impact that the venue had on that. It's just one of those things. It's not really tangible, but we've spent all summer talking about it and now it's here.
Yeah, and listen, in this morning's newspaper, the Scottish, and I spoke to Andy Walker about Celtic's season at Hampden. If you remember, 30 years ago this month, Fergus McCann started rebuilding Celtic Park. Celtic had a season at the National Stadium. Andy Walker scored their first ever league goal at Hampden in a win against Dundee United, and he said quite simply, it was different. You're going to a different venue, you don't have the home comforts, you don't have the same dressing room, you are not warming up in the same area, you're not in front of your own fans. The fans find it different. They're maybe not sitting with the people or standing with the people they would normally sit or stand with. The atmosphere at Hampden isn't as good. Some of the views for the fans aren't as good. It doesn't engender the same type of atmosphere that they used to get at the old Celtic Park or Rangers would get at Ibrox. So Andy thought there was going to be a difference, but we won't know. If Rangers win these 5 games in 15 days, people will forget all about the move. You know, it's going to be very difficult. Like so much of football, it will come down to results. But the first time Rangers get a poor result at Hampden, you can bet your bottom dollar, Gordon, there'll be plenty of people phoning in to blame the move to the National Stadium. As someone said to me this morning, it's a day when you need to show your mettle, because it's the steel men against the no steel men.
Dear me, honestly, that's why he's in the newspaper game.
He's
waited for
that long trip up there, thinking, how can I get this out?
Just thinking, I need to get this perfect before I go to Dave Galloway's Wimpy for my lunch. Fraser Wisher, it is one of those stories, you know, you kind of think you've seen it all in Scottish football. This one came out the blue a bit in the summer, and now we get into the actual implications, if any, on the football pitch.
Yeah, and I think Hugh made the point, it's through Rangers' own fault. You know, whatever's happened, they're going to have to play away. I don't think it's a big thing in the short term. I think it was to be the whole season. I played against Celtic during that season, 94-95, when they played at Hampden. I think they finished 4th, but maybe down to maybe the quality of the Celtic team wasn't great at that time. I played twice and we won both. Once with Rangers, then I moved to Hearts, we won with Hearts as well. So it wasn't quite as intimidating perhaps as a Celtic Park over the spell of a season. But if Rangers are only going to be there for a short term, then I'm with you, just go on with it, you know. I mean, if this was Rangers versus Motherwell in a cup semi-final with 12,000 Motherwell fans there, you'd still put all your money on Rangers, and there's only 800 fans there. So as a club perspective, from Clement and the players, just get on with their job. If it's longer term and it goes longer, and there's all sorts of rumours that it might be longer, who knows what's going to happen, then that might become a bigger problem. But in the short term, half a dozen games at Hampden Park, go on with it, just go and win your football games.
Well, we will go back to the National Stadium ahead of Rangers Motherwell next.
The winning team all season long. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Fast approaching kick-off at the National Stadium and elsewhere. Let's go back to Hampden and speak to Andrew McLean.
Yes, the players are out on the pitch shaking hands. Rangers led by captain James Tavernier. Of course, a lot of speculation about his future over the summer, but he leads Rangers into their first home league game of the season, and Paul McGinn, Motherwell's new captain, leading them out, of course, at the National Stadium. So much talk, so much discussion about this initially, where Rangers would play their football with Ibrox being out of use, and once Hampden was picked, how it would work, where would people be seated, how long for. That final question we still don't know the answer to yet, but at this point it looks as if it's gone without a hitch. A huge Rangers crowd here to see this new look side. Robin Proper in for his first start. Connor Goldson, of course, is the replacement. Robin Proper's his replacement, of course. Goldson almost ever present for Rangers really during his 6 years at the club. He did have his critics, but it's still a big role for the Dutchman to fill. How will he fare in his first match here at Hampden? Václav Černý as well. Rangers, I think for years really, have been crying out for a right winger. That cross for Cyril Dessers' goal midweek definitely showed promise, but can he back that up now at the National Stadium in his first start? Motherwell fans have travelled in their numbers as well. Quite a few flares going off in the away end as well as they try to make their most of their day at Hampden Park. I'll read out the teams for you as well. Jack Butland in goal for Rangers. The back four: James Tavernier, John Souttar, Robin Proper and Ridvan Yilmaz. Conor Barron and Mohamed Diamande, the two holding midfielders, with Václav Černý, Tom Lawrence and Scott Wright in behind Cyril Dessers. Was intrigued to see how Motherwell would line up, because they have named 6 defenders. It certainly looks, from the way they're lining up at the moment, it'll be Aston Oxborough in goal. The back three: Paul McGinn, Liam Gordon and Dan Casey. Stephen O'Donnell will be the right wing back. Steve Seddon will be the left wing back, which means Ewan Wilson will join Andy Halliday, Lennon Miller and Davor Dravkovsky in midfield. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos is up front for Motherwell, and referee Kevin Clancy has us underway at Hampden.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes. With M&D Green Pharmacy. Planning your holiday? Get essential health advice and medication before you travel.
Well, I have to say, when we left for the summer on a Saturday afternoon, I did not expect Rangers' first home game of the next campaign to be at Hampden, but there we are. It is in sunshine for now, which means it will be raining probably within the next 2 minutes if this morning has been anything to go by. Scoreline predictions from you three duds, please.
3-0 Rangers.
I'll go one less, 2-0 Rangers.
Gordon Dalziel.
4 Dessers to score at any time.
He's getting specific in his old age.
Okay.
4-0.
Yeah.
Oh, no, not even a goal for the Steelmen. It's grim. It is grim on the predictor front. If you're a Motherwell fan, you never know. Maybe a shock, but that Motherwell team ravaged by injuries, no real options, 3 midfielders playing, mostly kids or untested players on the bench. It could be a long afternoon, but only if Rangers can find top gear, because they have struggled at times recently, albeit some of them in pre-season. So we'll see. It's going to be a fascinating one, and we'll keep you up to speed on whatever's happening at the National Stadium. You have one other Premiership offering, and we've got 2 featured games in the Championship. So that's your ACCA for a Saturday. Rangers for you all. Who else?
I go Dundee United to win in Dingwall, Falkirk to win at Dunfermline, and Raith Partick a draw.
I've almost got the same as you, Hugh.
But he'll go for Partick because just in case anybody's listening.
I
don't want to lose my tracksuit.
Dundee United away, Falkirk away, and Partick Thistle against managerless Raith Rovers away.
Well, I'm going to mix up a little bit. I'm going to go for Dundee United to lose. I'm going to go for the Pars and Falkirk a draw, and I'll go for Raith Rovers.
Oh, that's mixing it.
They always teams always win without a manager in the first game. Always.
Do they though?
Yeah.
Someone's now
You
just
look
about
at
to
the
send
record
me a
books.
message to say there's absolutely no proof of that.
There's hundreds of proof of that. They always win once they sack the manager, guaranteed. Showing the records. I studied it this morning.
Early Rangers pressure. Ball's been in the Motherwell box a couple of times already. Dundee United missed an open goal after 11 seconds.
Oh, that's a sign.
Miller Thompson, who was excellent in the Dundee derby. It was Van der Sande, who was also good, went round the keeper, squared it, and Thompson over the bar inside 11 seconds. Incredible.
I thought they looked good last week going forward, Dundee United, and mistakes cost them in the end from Graham, who actually misses out for the new signing this afternoon. So I think they look okay, but it'll be a tough one for them up at Dingwall.
We're obviously looking at the Championship today. We've got a couple of featured games, and I have to say, some breaking news coming out of Kirkcaldy. I wonder what you make of this. Andy Barrowman, the CEO, is he, of Raith Rovers, he has beat Lennon Miller, decent opening for Motherwell, but hits the side netting, so a chance for these Steelmen. Andy Barrowman, CEO of Raith Rovers, saying they have a preferred candidate for the job, but he's in another job at the moment. Could it be that he's a pundit on Clyde One Super Scoreboard?
Who's that?
Who's
that?
You
100 to 1
for a return, remember?
Any truth in it?
I'm looking at you thinking absolutely no chance they're going to take Wilson.
Glad to know you've got my back.
How does it make you feel to know that Shug's only 90 to 1?
Yeah.
Very good indeed.
And I'll tell you what, the chance for Motherwell early on is a big one. Lennon Miller, it sits up nicely down the side of the box, and he knows it. It's flicked over the top. Rangers all over the place defensively. He's about 10 yards out. That is a massive opportunity for Motherwell.
Well, it's also an indication that the new defence that Clement has put together for today's game has not yet knitted together. You don't want that against Dynamo Kiev because there's too much money at stake.
It's end-to-end stuff though. Scott Wright, maybe he saves his best stuff for Hampden.
He's good at Hampden.
He's had an effort saved by Aston Oxborough, so it's a bright old start there at Hampden. No goals in any of our games to tell you about in the Championship as well. We'll keep you up to speed, but let's do this, Hugh, whilst we get the chance. So you're ready? We'll get the first half teaser for you roundabout now.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Question with a European dimension this week, including playoffs. Can you name the last 4 Celtic players and the last 4 Rangers players to score in a Champions League or Europa League qualifier, including the playoffs? Name the last 4 Celtic players and the last 4 Rangers players to score in a Champions League or Europa League qualifier.
Good question. At Clyde SSB, and the aim of the game on the first half teaser, in case you've never heard it before, where have you been, is to get all of the correct answers on one tweet and send it in at Clyde SSB. It's a race. Think of it as like some sort of weird twisted Olympics. Speaking of which, I've eventually found your event. We've been speaking about this over the last couple of weeks. What would you go for? We said I could see a bit of that Turkish shooter in you. You know, the guy with the hands
I like
in the
that.
pockets.
I like that.
The break dancing. That's you. What's it called? Breaking. Have you seen that?
No,
that is you.
That's not a sport.
It is. That reminds me. See when you were waiting. That was like you trying to walk down the hill at the golf course when you were waiting for your hip hop.
Yeah. I was in some awkward positions.
Round. Honestly, that's
She's seen me in the house.
I'd rather not, thank you.
but I don't think I've got that in my locker now.
Have you seen it?
What, the breaking?
I mean, it's not a sport, is it? Quite obviously, but nevertheless
ridiculous. And I heard somebody doing an interview about it, and I think that was the argument in the interview. It wasn't a sport, and they came on with all the technical terms and what it still means nothing. It shouldn't be in the Olympics. Somebody needs to get a hold of the Olympics and get it back to just get it back to real sport.
Yeah, exactly.
Is it not each host city they'll get?
Do they choose
to pick one?
Yeah, I think they can. Or there's a
joker.
And then you're not going to ditch the 100 metre sprint, but I think there's an element of.
So can you switch? Can you drop something and bring something
I'm
in?
sure you can.
What did they drop for the breakdancing?
I don't know.
At the point at which you introduce breakdancing, you reduce the Olympic Games to a farce.
Imagine people just switching on, thinking they're getting football coverage and our really, really basic commentary on the Olympic Games. We do have one of these, luckily.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And it's the big one in the Championship. I mean, they're all big ones, but this is fiercely contested. It means a lot to the fans, and the visitors have it. Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1. Ross McKeever with the goal after 6 minutes on the clock. It's probably the way people thought this would go. We've got a bit of interest in here, don't we? Our colleagues, producer John, big Falkirk fan, Stephen Mill, big Dunfermline fan. They were talking nonsense on the group chat this morning, but I think Falkirk clearly were favourites.
Something's in my head. Did Wishart play with one of these? Now, let me guess. He played with either team here, did he? Am I right now?
It's great to see.
He played with both.
It's great to see.
No, I don't think. I think he played with one. Did he play with Falkirk?
You follow your old pals' career so closely.
Did he?
For Falkirk, yes.
I was going to go the Pars.
Remember the throw-ins? Big throw-ins. They were good that year.
At Brockville.
Aye.
That's right. That's right. He used to take them from the corner flag, his own corner flag, and just throw them into the penalty box.
He'd be good in the Olympics, wouldn't he?
Aye. That's it. There you go. The Fraser Wishart throw-in.
Funnily enough, see, when Gerald Taylor started doing it at Tynecastle last week, someone apparently in the main stand said that just reminds me of Fraser Wishart.
Yeah.
Gee, get that in the Olympics. The throw-in. Just get a football, size 5. There you go.
Yeah.
And see who's got the biggest throw-in in the world. Give them a gold medal.
If Bailliston's ever the host city, you can introduce that.
The greatest story in the Championship would be John McGlynn winning promotion, back-to-back promotions with Falkirk, the Invincibles of last season. But it's a good division, because I'm looking at Scott Brown, my old pal.
I watched it.
Wonderful last night.
Yeah, 2 games, 6 points, scoring at will. That's going to be a terrific league this season.
Yeah, my legacy could go this year. I've really liked him last night.
Yep.
I'm a bit sick.
I'm starting to be honest, I think your legacy in air is probably not football related, quite frankly.
No, I was very successful on the pitch as well, I've got to say. But I was very impressed with the setup as well. I think New Stand's brilliant for them, and I'm really impressed with the team that Scott Brown's put together. I know it's early, but they gave Airdrie a going over last night.
They did. And people would have fancied Airdrie as well, understandably, because of the way they play, the Rhys McCabe story. But only one winner in that last night.
I think very highly of Rhys McCabe. I think there'll be a decent job for him further down the line, because he's a clearly young but outstanding manager. But he got a hosing last night, and Scott Brown, as I say, he's gone away, he's learned his stuff. Pittodrie, Fleetwood, now at Somerset Park, and he's building something there.
And he's a great quiz question answer, Rhys McCabe, because he is the first and only manager that you are more than double his age.
Yeah.
A Scottish football manager, and you're over double his age.
How old is he?
In fact, you're nearly double his age.
No, catch yourself on.
He's 32.
No, I'm well behind that.
Sorry to break it to you.
I'll be Hugh laughing there, chuckling away.
No, I don't mind.
He's loving having a go at you today. Called him Shrek.
In the office.
The handsome Keevins called me Shrek.
Listen, this man is a treasure to the local community. He has been out. He's been out opening church fairs this morning.
Yeah.
Someone sent
Good
me
for the CV,
someone sent me a video of him cutting the ribbon, holding his hands out, opening some sort of church fair.
They didn't have a ribbon, did they?
Yeah. It happened to be the church, Mark, in which I got married 53 years ago this Wednesday. It was that church, St Lawrence's in Drumchapel, and I cut the ribbon. I opened the church fete today.
And honestly, there was a big crowd there. At least 16 people I could see in the background as they cut the ribbon.
Listen, there were far more by the time I left, let me tell you.
Hold on, did you get...
Oh, how dare you.
Straight out the collection bucket.
Hold on.
Can't get weighed in for opening a
No, I
church
was
fair.
saying you got a nice tea and biscuits.
See, you're suggesting I would accept a fee for opening the church fete at the church where I got married.
Do nothing for nothing, Hugh. Even if it's a church.
Rangers should be ahead. That is an incredible double chance. Scott Wright blocked on the line, and when the rebound comes out to Dessers, as always, he'll get a bit of stick, but it is a wonderful save from Aston Oxborough, and it remains goalless at Hampden. Chances for both sides, but clearly Rangers with the better of it.
Sounds a good game. It sounds a real good pace to the game. Motherwell, everyone, once they seen their team there, thought, they're just got to sit and defend very, very deep, make it hard for Rangers. But they've had one or two wee glimpses at the Rangers goal. But as you say, Dessers probably should have scored.
Goals are going in down the divisions. It's already Dumbarton 1, Alloa 1. Luke Donnelly has just equalised for Alloa. And let me tell you, for any footballers out there that are trying to make things better on the pitch, trying to have an upturn in their career, come on this show. Do you know how long it took Scott Allen to open the scoring for Kelty today? 1 minute. Inspired by a Friday night with you, and he's gone and scored inside 1 minute. Anyway, we've got one of these at Hampden.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Cyril Dessers might have missed a minute ago, but no mistake this time. It's Diamande's knockdown, and Rangers do take the lead. 13 minutes gone at the National Stadium, and Philippe Clement will be happy with that. Motherwell did have a big chance, then Rangers with an even bigger chance, and now they've taken the lead. Diamande with the knockdown, Dessers with the finish, and he's picked up where he left off midweek.
Start of the slippery slope for Motherwell. This will not end well for the well. But Dessers, I think it's time the Rangers fans cut him some slack, because he scored the goal that was so vital in Lublin in Poland against Dynamo Kiev, and now he's put them in front today. So he may attract praise and criticism in equal measure from the Rangers supporters, but on numbers alone, the guy deserves a break.
I agree, Hugh. I think he's grown into that number 9 jersey. I really do. I know he misses his chances, but all good strikers miss chances. But I think this could be a big season for him. I've already got him down. I'm going to be shot in flames, down in flames here, as top goal scorer this year. And see, to be fair, after a Hearts game, he should be sitting in about 5. So he's a threat. He'll get goals. Will he miss chances? Yes, he will, but he's there to do that. That's his job. He's got off to a terrific start.
Motherwell will be frustrated, Mark, because it's the bit that they probably were comfortable enough with that team. We know it's very limited today, but they probably at least thought they could be solid enough. There's not really much in the goal. It doesn't take much creativity from Rangers. It's fairly simple stuff, and Motherwell really making life easy for them.
Well, when you've got that height in your back line, you've got, you know, defenders who like to go and attack the ball. The last thing you expect is just a kind of floated ball and swinging towards your goal, causing you problems. And like you said, Diamandi's the one that knocks it down to Dessers, and it's just so easy from a Motherwell point of view. So their back four spread across the pitch. A poor goal to lose for Stuart Kettlewell, but the guys are right. Cyril Dessers keeps scoring, and surely the striker out of any position is the one that you get away with just numbers, solely based on numbers. If you score goals game after game,
you can't get criticised.
Exactly. Does it really matter what you do in link-up play?
No, but I don't think that's the criticism. The criticism will always be, well done for getting that, but you could have had more, and you could have done it in big moments or big games. It's just not always
but
that.
I say this numerous times about players in this country who get criticised. If they scored every chance, they would not be in this country. They would be playing at the top level.
But maybe there's a middle ground between the amount that he scored and then every chance. Some of
the sitters, I will agree with that. Some of the sitters that he does miss, of course, questionable, but he gets himself in those positions to tuck those ones away.
But you could be right, Gordon. Only 3 players scored more league goals last season: Tavernier, O'Reilly and Shankland.
Well, you look at the opening game against Hearts, he could have probably had 3. He's probably could have had 2 today. He scores on. Look, I like him. I know that he comes in for criticism, because sometimes you see him the following week, you go, he's right off it, but he's grown into it for me. And plus the fact, anybody that puts their hand in their pocket and pays for haircuts will do for me.
So the video paying for a fan's haircut.
2.
I think he gets unfairly criticised sometimes as well. I think some people are jumping on the bandwagon at chances he gets and then refer them as sitters. He should have scored. When there's chances that other strikers who've been at the club in the past, or if you see Kyogo miss him, you go, either the goalie's done well or it's not really a sitter. But every chance he misses is, he should have scored. And I think that's where he's unfairly criticised sometimes.
Do you know why I think he gets so much stick from the Rangers fans?
Another goal at Hampden.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
Robin Proper has scored into his own net. It's an equaliser for Motherwell. I just reeled the 3 of you in there. It took a nick off John Souttar, and Proper directs it into the bottom corner. Not the debut he would have been hoping for in the Scottish Premiership, and Motherwell are level.
Well, that's a shock. And for Proper, you know, as I said at the start of the game, Rangers fans are looking for a figurehead at the back, a Terry Butcher, a Richard Gough, and he's had a shocker, and he's stuck in an own goal. So he'll have to live with that and have to improve as the game progresses. I go back to a point about Dessers. The reason why I think he gets so much stick from the Rangers fans, he doesn't score against Celtic.
There's always an element of misfortune or bad luck or whatever about an own goal, Gordon, but it's also poor. Rangers backline is a bit squinty. I mean, Proper is a lot deeper than the rest. Souttar, he nicks it off his head. He probably doesn't need to go for it. Proper sticks out a toe. It's not pretty.
There's no balance whatsoever to the back four, and look, there's absolutely no danger there. That's poor. That is poor from Rangers. I know that Souttar goes for it. It may have just caused Proper to stick out his foot, and he's not in control of the ball at all, and it goes by Butland, who's absolutely no chance. But that, see, I've got to say, Gordon, I said it to Mark off air, I was surprised Balogun was left out. Right now I'm saying that Proper should have played. I would have probably played Balogun instead of Souttar. I really would. I think you've got to find a fine balance. It's early in the two, Proper and Souttar, but I thought Balogun the other night there was excellent. I really did.
I think the problem, not the problem, the thing at the moment is we are in this midst of European qualification. We don't know how Philippe Clement's seeing it, because if you think Tuesday is more important, if that's the right phrase, maybe Balogun does play.
Yeah, because he's older and maybe needs Tuesday a bit more. Yeah, I take that on board.
You know, once you're into the season and you've got a bigger sample to look back on, but it could be that's part of the thinking.
Tuesday's absolutely crucial for Rangers, because not just because you get £4 million for then going into the playoff round, but you cannot exit the Champions League at this stage. it sends out all the wrong signals, and it halts the transfer season for Rangers, because by their own admission they have to sell players in order to buy. They need an injection of money, which Tuesday night provides.
Remind us of that teaser, please, Hugh. We'll do some wrong answers if we can.
On the subject of Europe, including playoffs, can you name the last 4 Celtic players and the last 4 Rangers players to score in a Champions League or Europa League qualifier?
Okay, let's see if we can do some wrong ones just to help you along. See if you need it. I don't think many of you will. Some of the answers I can see are pretty good. You know what? I'm quite impressed with what I'm witnessing so far. Oh, very impressed actually. Look at these. Scott Connie wants to throw in Antonio Cholak.
No.
What about Lee Griffiths?
No.
And Derek FM wants to suggest Odsonne Edouard.
Suggest away, but it's not right.
Okay, keep your guesses coming, please. That's the first half teaser at Clyde SSB. There's clearly not much to report after what we already heard from Dunfermline Falkirk, because Fraser Wishart's telling us that there are plastic bags being blown across the pitch. That's it.
Plastic bags.
Welcome back. Summertime
from a local
football.
supermarket.
Just it's very windy and there's not much happening.
Tell Fraser to get on and get them, gather them up.
Remember you got caught trying to nick one?
Yeah.
In Motherwell.
Terrible. I felt I could see her. I could see the way she knew right away. She went, he's no paying for that bag.
I get charged 60 pence this week for a plastic bag. 60 pence?
No, it's ridiculous.
James Tavernier, free kick from distance, tipped wide by Oxborough. But obviously we do slag this guy regularly for, you know, his thirst for a freebie. No, you know, he was over in Arran recently.
Lamlash.
And he kicked up such a fuss about having no hot water in the hotel. He got a full refund.
Yeah.
So
rightly so. Right too, yeah.
You don't get a bath, a bubbly bath.
So it turned out to be a freebie anyway, but only because he was so angry that having to pay in the first place. Word has now reached to me, Mark Wilson, and you'll love this, that the only reason that he went to Arran is because he tried to get a freebie. You know, Cammy Bell owns those glamping pods.
Yeah.
He tried to get a freebie at Cammy Bell's glamping pods and he had no availability, so he had to then pay for a hotel. And
do you believe that?
Yeah, I do believe that. I do believe that. Right, give me the story. How did that conversation go with Cammy?
I was interested in what he had to offer, and I says to him, look, just send me through your bank details and All sort everything out for it. I didn't even ask the price. Right?
Do you know what's funny about it? I must have been busy over the summer, because once Cammy told me, it all came back to me. He did text me saying, what's Cammy Bell's number? And I thought nothing of it and just sent it over.
This going?
Never thought of it again.
I just fancied the
He's tried to get a wee freebie.
Right, did you say what's your bank details and I'll sort you out?
No, he just says to me, come on down.
No availability, he said. Listen, if you owned glamping pods, would you let him stay in it?
Oh no, you'd have to burn it after.
Exactly.
I think that's a bit cruel.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
The one-man Václav Černý fan club in the form of Hugh Keevins will be happy. It's a great curling strike and Rangers are back in front. It's Rangers 2, Motherwell 1. What a game we've got.
Come on then.
I said nothing. I was those two that was having a go at you, and Roger Hannah.
I was more Roger.
This is what we do.
Roger.
Nobody said he wasn't going to be good. We just asked you what you had seen from him so far, apart from the cross the other night.
I just think
that was it.
Yep. Well,
justified.
You can spot
today.
A player, Hugh. That's one thing about you.
Inspired signing. That's what I said.
You can spot a player. But I'll tell you what, we've got to say all our predictions are well gone already.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good goal, Václav Černý. He cuts in on his left. He said when he joined Rangers that was his strength, that's what he would look to do, and he's just curled it. Oxborough's had a good start to the game. He couldn't keep that one out though.
Exactly what you want. You join a new club, you're a creative player, take up good positions, and you want goals and assists, and he's got off to a flyer assist the other night, but the goal's exactly what he wants. I was going to say a home game, but well, a relative home game. But you can see strength, that left side. You can certainly see what he's going to be good at this year, taking it in the half turn, and you know, a decent response from Rangers, because no doubt about it, the own goal was a blow. You have to pick yourself back up and get going again. And you're right, what a game we've got in the opening 25 minutes.
Černý will take Rangers past Dynamo Kiev. There you are.
We will see. Let's deal with today first, and then we can get to it. We've got a penalty for Ross County. Ronan Hale, the new signing, tripped by Walton, the goalkeeper. VAR has had a look, and yes, the penalty is going to stand. So a chance for the Staggies, and it's going to be Eamon Brophy to take the kick.
Fancy them. I fancied them today.
You'd also,
I know it's early, but I fancied them.
You'd
today.
also trust Eamon Brophy, wouldn't you? I mean,
well, centre forward,
The Wolf.
Who's called the Wolf?
That's his nickname, isn't it?
He's got the kind of wolf celebration thing he does as well.
Come
seriously?
on. You've been called that for years.
Get down with the kids.
Never heard that.
Saved, by the way, Eamon Brophy's penalty. But Hugh can spot a player. His predictions they're never off. Saved by Walton. I suppose
that was just a wee wolf.
if you give the penalty away, you might as well make amends by standing up and saving it. So it's still goalless in that one. Ross County 0, Dundee United 0, Rangers 2, Motherwell 1 at Hampden. And in our championship games, the Gordon Dalziel derby, Raith Rovers 0, Partick Thistle 0, and Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1.
Has David Friel started off the season like he finished last year? Oh, boring.
Scrappy.
Oh yeah.
Last I
Not
heard,
enjoying it.
Thistle were on top, but no real chances.
I'd like to see.
So to see if we can get any headway made in front of goal. No, he's loving it today, he says. He's happy with what he's seeing, albeit just waiting for a goal. If there's anything else of note down the divisions, I'll tell you about that as well. And do you know what? I think this season we're just going to throw it wide open. See if you think there's something out there from your amateur football experiences, or the West of Scotland League, East of Scotland League, Lowland League, that you think needs mentioned on a Saturday afternoon. We'll do it. We're going to try and spread our wings and give everyone as much attention as they deserve. It's going to need to be something special though, to impress these guys in here. They're cynics. But if there is anything you want to get over to us, please do. Penalty Raith Rovers. Heard that many times in the 90s. You would just stand up and stick them away.
That would be my goal right away.
Given.
I would just say to the boys, I'll get you back at halfway line, boys. Don't even bother come up.
Dumbarton 1, Alloa 2, whilst we wait on the outcome of this Raith Rovers penalty.
Do you know, I didn't like scoring penalties. I liked scoring. Well, I always thought that people would label you, I scored 35. Now, I used to score 35 a season, right? So they'd go, I scored 2 or 3 penalties. I didn't like that. I prefer to score from open play.
You should have missed a few then.
Judge, give it to someone else.
No, because it was all about me. As a centre.
A jumble of contradictions, this guy. That makes absolutely no sense. But there we go. Up steps Dylan Easton.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And Raith Rovers, managerless Raith Rovers, as they will be referred to this week, are in front. He sends the keeper the wrong way, and it's Raith Rovers 1, Partick Thistle 0.
What did I tell you about no manager?
Yeah.
What did I tell you about the record books?
That Raith Rovers statement, are we to take it then? They're talking about Darren O'Dea, who's got the professional pathway job at Lennoxtown for Celtic, therefore is in another job at another club. Is that what they're referring to?
They were quite keen on Peter leaving as well, weren't they? That was a name that was mentioned. I don't know how far that got down. I think it'd be a good job. I really do. I think they've worked very hard behind the scenes. They've got new owners in. They get a good crowd if they're winning games. Good place
Peter
to be.
Leaving is in a job, by the way.
Yeah.
As well, so.
See, with that, it'd be a good job. There's no doubt where the club was, and they nearly got into the Premiership. But is that a good job for managers to see another manager get sacked after day one and think that's a stable environment?
That's what
Particularly
happens.
if they're in a job. Why would you leave a job to go to a club?
Well, it depends what job though. If it's if you're a coach, you're still going to take a manager's job, and you don't have to buy it. But Raith Rovers have explained they don't see it as day one. They're taking the League Cup into account. They're taking pre-season into account. Although they finished second, they're taking the second half of last season into account. Free kick to Rangers in what will forever be known as James Tavernier territory. Since we're at Hampden, you can use this. It's not the Lee Griffiths end, obviously. No. It's the other end. So James Tavernier territory. Aston Oxborough, the man in goal, he tips it wide. So he's had a couple of saves to make already. He's let 2 in. He's had a busy afternoon, and it's still Rangers 2, Motherwell 1.
Is he a good replacement, Gordon? As a number 1, do you think?
Yeah, I was quite impressed with him.
It's very hard to tell already, but he's played pretty well so far.
Yeah.
He's a
big shoes to fill, huh?
gloves.
Big gloves
really.
to fill. Yeah, you
Big
don't want your
gloves.
shoes on your on your hands.
Some look like it.
Yeah, I think it's Liam Kelly just played all the time, didn't he? And
Yeah.
Oxborough's been there a couple of seasons, never really played. He had one League Cup game against Queen of the South at the start of last season. But so far this season, I don't think you would. It's very. I mean, it was goalless against Partick Thistle, wasn't it? He did make a couple of good saves. Goalless against Ross County. There's not been too much happening. Suter headers over from that resulting corner, by the way.
Well, it sounds as if Motherwell had they had a bad break when Lennon Miller missed what was a very good looking chance, and then they got a good break when Robin Propper put the ball into his own net. But it sounds like Rangers have just grabbed the game back and they're not letting it go.
Yeah, it was always going to be that type of day, Gordon, whether it was at Hampden or not, whether Rangers were not at their fluent best or not. Motherwell were going to have to stay more secure than conceding twice in 20 minutes or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's the problem. You go with a game plan and it goes right out the window. They get back in that game with a little bit of luck with their own goal, but Rangers came right back at them and got the goal in the right time. They're dominating the game. You just hope that, if you're a Motherwell fan, that they can muster up another couple of chances, whether it be for set plays or whatever, but they can't afford to lose the third. If they lose the third before half time, it's going to be a long afternoon for them.
Well, it might be long anyway. Andy Halliday took a kick. No respect from the Rangers players for one of their own former.
They won't know, will they? It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Bad memories of Hampden.
Do you think he'll be swapping jerseys at the end of the game?
He'll be keeping his Motherwell one, but he'll be asking for a Rangers
I
one.
think you'd be surprised. Having listened to him on the show last season, I'm not sure he's a fan of many of these. Maybe
The new players, the new group.
Maybe Connor Barron.
Well, he's got a big task today, because playing in that midfield against, what seems like a tide coming against you is not going to be easy. Did we get to the bottom of who's playing beside him? Because was it 6 defenders? What is that, 5-4-1 Motherwell playing? But who out of those defenders are playing more advanced?
Yeah, I'm not entirely. I think maybe Ewan Wilson was the one who was further advanced. So he, has been playing left wing back for Motherwell, but Steve Seddon into the team as well. So Wilson a bit more advanced, and Motherwell really got serious personnel issues today. Even looking at the bench, there's not a lot to turn to. There are a couple of attackers there, and Zach Robinson, Moses Abie, but in terms of taking the heat off that midfield, that's going to be a challenge.
I think it's got to be a long season for the Steelmen. I'm a bit concerned about us.
It's kind of a box, if you like. So Davor and Halliday deeper than Lennon Miller and Ewan Wilson, who's been, who by the way is a youngster who's not really played and has gone from left back to midfield at Hampden against Rangers. So that's the type of challenge Motherwell
tall order. They're a side that don't carry much luck in terms of injuries. When you look
the
through
list is unbelievable
past
at the moment.
maybe couple of years, and the injuries that they seem to pick up, they always seem to be scrambling to put a squad together that can actually
particularly
compete.
in those areas, Gordon, because there was a time where I thought Motherwell maybe had too many sort of similar-ish midfielders, but all of a sudden Harry Payton's going to be out for a while. Sam Nicholson, who most Motherwell fans hoped would take over the Blair Spittle role, the kind of creative one, he's going to be out for ages. Callum Slattery's not back yet. They signed Ross Callaghan, who was injured. He's got re-injured and he's not kicked a ball yet. And these are all players in that middle area of the pitch.
Yeah, players that could make a difference. It's okay if you've got a squad and you've got one or two fringe players injured and you think, right, okay, fine, but they're important players. Motherwell seem to do that. It's important players that seem to pick up the knocks, and they're out for a length of time. We hope they recover very quickly. But you mentioned 4 guys there that certainly could make a difference to Motherwell in the middle of the park.
Well, we're approaching the 35-minute mark. Davor is getting treatment, so there we go. That would be a huge issue for Motherwell, because they're kind of patched up, and those are about the only 3 midfielders that they've got. They've got a young left back playing in there as well, so this could be a real problem if that has to be the end of Davor's afternoon. A quick reminder of the teaser, please, Hugh, whilst we have that stoppage.
Including playoffs, can you name the last 4 Celtic players and the last 4 Rangers players to score in a Champions League or Europa League qualifier?
Most of you are there or thereabouts. I did read some wrong answers a moment ago just to try and help you along the way. Trying to see if there are any original wrong answers, if you like. What about Gav wants to throw in Todd Cantwell? Remember him? No, not on the list. So keep going. At Clyde SSB, it's a race, so be quick. Try and get all the answers down and fire them over. Our friend of the show, he definitely has to be called that now, Brian Graham. It was heading in the top corner. Great save, Kevin Dabrowski, to keep Raith Rovers in front.
Well, Thistle could do with a result. You know, it was a poor one for them at home last week against Morton. They seen that as a real chance to get off to a flyer, and then Raith away is always a hard game, so could do with a goal.
Competitive championship, Mark. It really is.
Everybody the same kind of budget.
You look at Livingston going to Queen's Park last night, getting a draw as well. Falkirk have started really, really well. And then you look down the bottom, Hamilton, they're at Morton today, Capello. So important games, but you've got to keep yourself in touch, because I would probably say about 5 teams there are capable of winning that championship.
You're the 5 that aren't
they? The other ones, I would say Hamilton, Dunfermline, Queen's Park, and probably Morton. Benny's that.
Close enough.
Right, keep your guesses to that first half teaser coming. At Clyde SSB is Rangers 2, Motherwell 1 at Hampden. It's Ross County 0, Dundee United 0. A penalty saved though. Eamon Brophy passing up the chance for the Staggies. Our 2 championship games, Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1 and Raith Rovers 1. Partick Thistle 0. As we said, the other game that Gordon mentions today, Morton 0, Hamilton Accies 0. There's nothing really jumping out at me from the Leagues 1 and 2 apart from that Scott Allen goal in the first minute. Just they were walking out the door last night and Hugh just patted them in the back and said, come on, fast start tomorrow.
Nice guy, Scott Allen. First I met him last Sunday.
He joined the elite band last night.
What was that?
I was in his car, gave me a lift.
What a chance.
No wonder you were patting on the back.
No, do you know what that is? That's people that are too nice. He lives nowhere near you. You are not on his way home.
Nobody lives anywhere near you.
But you can at least kind of go past that way.
Another 25 minutes past that way.
Nah. So you've all jumped in early.
Were you going somewhere else?
It started to rain. They still dropped you off at the railway.
Right, you didn't go all the way.
Dropped me off at the railway station.
I've got a bit more respect for him now.
That's still kind of him.
What you get? I bet you thought you were getting a ride the full way back as well.
Did I ever tell you, I don't even know if I explained this to Hugh, that Stephen McGinn was in here a couple of times and he took Hugh home, because I think Hugh was still on the assumption that the McGinns are all from sort of, you know, out that way. Except Stephen McGinn lives in Bishopton, entirely the opposite direction, and he was just too nice to say anything. So he took Hugh all the way to Bearsden and turned round to Bishopton.
I did not know that.
There you go. That's
listen,
they're good boys. They're good boys. They would do that, I'm sure.
Get your L plates out, Hugh, and learn to drive.
It's never too late, Hugh.
Yes, it is.
Is it too late for Hugh?
In my humble opinion, yes.
What age are you debarred from?
I don't think there's an official rule, but I just can't imagine it. Come on.
I told you, look, I've said to one guy at the test centre when the test was over, I said, look, don't bother with your bit of paper. I just hope this has not been a life-changing moment for you.
Are you that bad?
Well, I was going to say, Hugh, you're an intelligent man who's been in the journalism business a long time, and how did you find it so difficult to drive a car?
No coordination.
I do think purely for our entertainment, you know, for like to create a video or something, can we not get him like a Dodgem or something, you know, or put the kind of bumpers round the car, get him out into the car park.
I would love that. Give him a few manoeuvres to...
Are there any driving instructors out there who are willing to potentially bend the law and do that for us out here in the car park? Just imagine the views. That's all I'm thinking about.
Views.
Any YouTube views would you get on that? A rare 40 up the pitch for Motherwell a few moments ago from forcing a corner, but it doesn't really come to anything, and then the whistle goes in Rangers' favour. So tough half for Motherwell so far.
I would say that they're hanging in well, because for it to be only 2-1, considering the pressure that Rangers have had, they are getting a going over, but they're keeping it respectable.
I suppose though, and I'm not, Rangers are obviously dominant, Gordon, and this might change. Let me get that in there just now. This Rangers team doesn't tend to
blow you away,
batter your goal with chances, you know, for all the territory today. And again, it's so far, this might change. It's not like it's chance after chance. A couple of Oxborough's saves have been from free kicks from outside the box.
Yeah, I think that's what would disappoint the Rangers manager. I think he'll be looking for a bit more sort of quality. Especially, I watched him the other night. I thought for the wide areas, some of the balls in from, for instance, Tavernier, because Rangers played a lot down the right hand side, for his ability was quite poor. You're right. They're not a team that if you go 2-1 behind, you're thinking, oh, this could be 6 this afternoon. But they're certainly got capabilities to win the game comfortably, whether it be a 3-1 or whatever it may be. But I think Hugh's right. I think Motherwell are digging in. As long as they can get to that half time, probably 2-1, they'll still feel they're in the game. As much as they've not really contributed a lot, they'll still feel they're in the game.
Your worry is the best shot at goal that Motherwell have had came from a Rangers player, and it was a goal.
Yeah, it was.
Lennon Miller
should have scored.
Was through early, and they were hoping maybe another chance like that. So
you could tell, that was a big chance early on, wasn't it? Really, he'll have been disappointed not to test the goalkeeper.
Oh, but his ability, 100%. You've got to test the goalkeeper for error. These chances don't come along too often, and with the ability that he's got, young player, terrific, great future ahead of him. He'll be disappointed. Of course he will be.
Right, where are we? Approaching half time, I would say. A couple of minutes away. Nothing really jumping out from any of the other games either at the moment. Even in the Championship, a bit quiet at Morton 0, Accies 0. Into League One, not loads happening there. That Dumbarton Alloa game dominating things, and fairly quiet in League 2 as well. So maybe it's just taking a bit to get going. It's a bit livelier in the Lowland League. You can see Skilbride are 4-0 up on Stirling Uni. There are a couple of games where both teams have scored there. So again, we're all about the stories. If there's anything out there that you think deserves a mention, I don't even care what level of football it's from. If it's outstanding, spectacular, bizarre, share it with us and we'll try and give it a mention on the show. Anything else catching your attention? Would you have expected a breakthrough at County Dundee United, or did that always have a
That's always got to be tight for me.
I think so. I think the way United played with that 3-4-3, a couple of attractive looking players going forward, but I thought they looked at times easy to play against. I thought there might have been a few more openings in that one, if I'm honest.
I thought Dundee first half were poor. I really did. I was expecting.
I think Tony Docherty agrees with you.
Yeah. And obviously their captain Luke, who cost me a ball, my cow. My blisters are away gone. Thanks for asking. They played better second half. Look, the derbies take care of themselves. The atmosphere, everything. You witnessed it, Gordon. So it gets you up for it. It's different at Dingwall. You've got to sometimes dig in.
Was that your first Dundee derby, Gordon?
It was actually.
What did you think of the atmosphere?
I don't know how it's passed me by. I've been to loads of Edinburgh derbies for work, and obviously when Celtic and Rangers meet as an example, but yeah, Dundee passed me by until now, and it was magnificent.
Yeah,
loved everything about it.
What did you love about it?
The atmosphere was genuinely so good.
Was it?
It was. Obviously it had the kind of novelty factor. I popped outside, watched the Dundee players walking down the hill. It had so many, that what you're looking for a derby in terms of a bit of passion, tackles flying in, but then it had a bit of quality as well. Sometimes the Edinburgh derby, sorry people of Edinburgh, the quality bit just gets left behind. I remember going to a few of them and they finished 0-0 and they were just hectic and nothing really happened. I genuinely thought it had a bit of everything. Thought it was great. Nothing worse than when you spend a lot of money on a striker and he's forced off injured. Stamatolopoulos, his afternoon is over. £250,000, which is a lot for Motherwell. It's his first start and he's off injured, just like most of his teammates. And Zach Robinson is on.
Motherwell sponsored by the NHS. I mean, how many injuries can one club have in 1 week?
Yeah, run of bad luck. Not what Stuart Keltwell needs at the start of a season. That the fixtures are now looking very difficult.
It is the risk as well. Like we said, that other clubs are able to scoff at that. That is a lot of money for Motherwell to spend for a transfer fee. About $250,000.
That is a lot of money,
especially for a guy from the Australian League, the A-League.
So in normal Motherwell terms, what is that? That's probably a salary for two, by the way, probably not far off top earners for a season. Then you pay on one transfer fee. So it's to put it in a bit of context.
Well, they must have thought he was worth it, but unfortunately he's career has not got off to a great start. He's limped off this afternoon. He's not really seen much of the ball.
He might be the only guy to ever get injured without touching the ball. I was just thinking that.
Do you know, I've been in that ship before. There's nothing worse. You're playing as a centre forward and you've not kicked the ball, and it's live on TV.
Dessers is not happy. Cyril Desser's not happy. He felt he was pulled back by Liam Gordon when a ball was played over the top. He's arguing that he was through on goal, no free kick given, so it wouldn't be a penalty. But I suppose if there was, it could, in theory, a red card could be given, but I don't think. I think that was players around it for Motherwell to help out, and Liam Gordon's claiming he was caught in the face as well. So just a bit of drama for the referee to tidy up here as we get to the end of the first half. I'll tell you what, Hugh, whilst we wait on it, let's round this off if we can.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
The question was, including playoffs, can you name the last 4 Celtic players and the last 4 Rangers players to score in a Champions League or Europa League qualifier? For Celtic, Kyogo Furuhashi, James Forrest, David Turnbull, Ryan Christie. For Rangers, Cyril Dessers, James Tavernier, Rabbi Matondo and Abdallah Sima.
I'm reliably informed, don't shoot the messenger, only 2 people made it onto the podium. Matondo prop in second, and Liam, like Madonna, just like one name, that's all that's needed. Liam was the winner of the first half teaser, and we'll do a Who Am I a bit later on in the show. I'll tell you, Liam Gordon's still down getting treatment from that knock to the head from Cyril Desser's arm. Looks like a sore one.
I tell you what, David Henderson's a busy man these days. That's the Motherwell physio for him that's listening out there. And the Scotland,
your stuff,
and the Scotland physio. Terrific. He diagnosed my hip right away within seconds. Fantastic physiotherapist.
Motherwell might have to make another change, but we'll see. It'll probably be given to half time to get a look at it, because it's the break already upon us with Roger Hannah in Dingwall.
Yeah, it's Ross County 0, Dundee United 0, but United have their goalkeeper Jack Walton to thank for keeping the scoreline at that at the break. He saved Eamon Brophy's 24th minute penalty and has also produced a string of stops to deny the Staggies a lead. Incredibly, United could have been ahead after just 11 seconds. Jord van der Sande bus clear from halfway. He rounded goalkeeper Ross Laidlaw. He cut the ball back for young Miller Thompson, a goal hero in the Dundee derby last Sunday, but he somehow lost his composure and slashed the ball high over the bar at the jail end. It was a real let-off for County, and they looked as if they were going to take that let-off, because the bus clear after 5 minutes. Ronan Hale, who's been outstanding leading the line with Brophy, he tested Walton for the first of his saves in just 5 minutes. Jack Greaves was the next County player to threat when he slashed a shot wide in 20 minutes, and then it was Hale again, this time with an audacious effort to lob Walton from all of 35 yards. Just went over the top. But then the penalty, it started with Scott Allardyce, a former United player, a 20-yard shot along the ground. Walton extended his hand down to the right, he got to the ball then spun out. Hale was first to it, he touched the ball and he was brought down by the goalkeeper. Referee Craig Napier, no hesitation in pointing to the spot supported by the VAR Gavin Duncan. And then Brophy stepped up from 12 yards, but his shot somehow pushed out by Walton, who dived well down to his right. Moments later, Hale took things into his own hands again, surging in off the left, and his fierce shot flew just inches beyond the far post. Walton called into action yet again in 32 minutes. Michie Fetty, this time with a low drive from the edge of the box, a goalkeeper saving with his foot. Aidan Denham was the next to threaten. He went past 2 United defenders on the edge of the box, but fired just over the top. And then another save by Walton in 37 minutes. This time, Hale turning on the edge of the box, a low shot pushed behind by the goalkeeper, to the utter frustration of the Northern Irish forward. It's been all County, but somehow United have kept it level. Half time in Dingwall, Ross County 0, Dundee United 0.
Well, sounds like an interesting one, even though it is goalless there for Roger Hannah. We'll keep an eye on the break and see if there are any changes. David Friel has reached half time between Raith Rovers and Partick Thistle.
Yeah, Gordon, Raith 1, Partick 0, a decent first half of the DL derby. They don't have a manager, they do have a half-time lead. It was Dylan Easton's penalty that's put them ahead. John Potter standing in his boss after Ian Murray was sacked last week. He's been really animated in the touchline, but he'll be happy with the performance of his players, although Thistle have had chances. Chris Doolan sided the best of the opening spell, they pinned Raith back, but no really clear-cut openings. Logan Chalmers lively, Harry Millen tested Kevin Dabrowski with a low cross. But Raith started to come into the game midway through the half. Lewis Gibson almost scored from a corner and then won a penalty in 27 minutes. The winner was caught by Waziri Williams. It was an easy decision for referee Peter Stewart. Dylan Easton, calmest man inside Starks Park, he casually found the bottom corner. This will come back well. Chalmers sent a shot wide. Brian Graham almost found the top corner, only for Dabrowski to make a wonder save. So it's all to play for in the second half, but it's advantage Raith in the battle of the two promotion hopefuls. Half time, Raith 1, Partick 0.
Wind sounded great, no idea what David Friel said, but the wind was nice to listen to. A late corner for Rangers at Hampden to see if they can add to their advantage before the break. Liam Gordon back on, but a long delay after he received a sore one in the face. John Suter's shot deflected wide, another corner. Motherwell will know there's a huge difference between going in 2-1 and 3-1 down, so they'll be keen to try and hold firm for another minute or two. 50 minutes gone in Fraser Wishart's game in Dunfermline, so can't be too much longer there. We do have that first half-time whistle, as we told you about already, so hang fire. We'll get another piece of half-time information soon, and then we move on and see what the managers can do over the break. Earn their money with the half-time team talks. Hugh Keevins and Gordon Dalziel are already tucked into their half-time pies. They've checked out, so I'm just going to keep talking. See what they do to me in here at a half-time break. These two have got a mouthful of Scotch pie, and Mark Wilson's away to the bathroom. Honestly, what chance have you got?
Everybody needs a break.
Oh, you're back. Good.
If you have to open a church gate early on, you
exactly, mate.
Go without breakfast.
Still nothing. Still no half-time whistle gone at Hampden or in Fraser's game at East End Park. And there we go. It is Fraser Wishart. Take it away.
It is half time here. It's Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1. A few boos from the home supporters because it's only the fans to my right in the packed away end that are cheering Falkirk 1 up, and it's been very comfortable for them as they've dominated the game, and they look a good side. Lively start to the game for both sides. Not even 3 minutes to the clock when UNA O2 was booked for pulling back Callum Morrison. It's going to be a long 90 minutes for the left back for Dunfermline after that. And in 6 minutes, an excellent opener from Falkirk. Dylan Tate, the lovely pass inside the full back, sent young Keelan Adams, the right back, running down the right hand side. His driven low cross was turned into the net from close range by Ross McKeever. The restart was delayed for 3 minutes for some reason. We're not sure. Presumably something happened in the crowd as the Falkirk players celebrated in front of them on the far side. But the goal certainly rocked Dunfermline. Took a while to recover, and they're unable to create anything. Falkirk on the other hand looked lively. Dylan Tate involved in everything. His midfield partner Brad Spencer excellent as well. Dunfermline keeper Dennis Mehmet had to be smart to block a close range shot from Sean Mackey. Calvin Miller had put in a couple of really dangerous crosses, then he drifted inside to find some space 20 yards out before pulling a shot just a yard wide of the goalkeeper beating Falkirk. The team threatening to score a second. Hogarth in their goals, an absolute spectator. Gary Oliver next to try, poor connection with his header and from a Morrison cross, and an easy save for Mehmet. Tate then had a goal bound shot blocked by Benedictus in stoppage time, and only one real chance for the Pars in 42 minutes. David Witherspoon with his trademark chop inside, tried to curl a left foot shot into the far corner, but it was high and wide. That's the only real effort and goal for the home side in the first half. Very composed performance by Falkirk so far. The questions are all for Dunfermline and James McPake at the break. They need to change things around very quickly if they're going to get back into this game, but they are only one goal down at half time. Half time here, Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1.
And finally half time at Hampden. Andrew McLean.
Rangers 2, Motherwell 1, the half-time score. It's been a lively match so far at the National Stadium, with Rangers' new signings at the thick of it. An own goal from Robin Proper, but a cracker from Vratislav Cherny has the hosts ahead in this one. It was the visitors though that had the first real opening. A good one too for Lennon Miller within 3 minutes of the game. Should have hit the target but found the side netting from an angle. After that, Rangers hit their stride for a wee while. Scott Wright had a shot saved before a huge double chance. Wright again this time, an effort brilliantly blocked on the line. Dessers with a rebound, maybe should have done better, but really well saved by Aston Oxborough. Dessers did get his goal moments later. Ridvan Yilmaz cut onto his right, played in the deep cross. Mohamed Diamandi with the header down, and Cyril Dessers turned the ball home for the opener. They'll have hoped to kick on from then, but question marks over their defending early in the campaign continue here. They looked a bit all over the place as Motherwell got forward. A cross from the left was flicked on by the head of John Souttar before Robin Proper stuck out his leg, diverted it into his own net. Not what you want on your debut for your new club, but it was another player making his first start for Rangers who restored their lead. Václav Černý finding space, cutting onto his left foot just outside the box. A brilliantly curled effort past Aston Oxborough for 2-1. That's the type of start that he definitely would have wanted to be making for his new side. Oxborough did have another couple of saves to make from James Tavernier free kicks. There was a couple of corners late on. John Souttar with a shot that was deflected just wide, but just the one goal separating these two sides at the break. The half-time score, Rangers 2, Motherwell 1.
And we will do a full roundup of the half-time scores next.
Taking your calls on Scottish football. 0141 951 1025. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Half-time scores in the Scottish Premiership. It's Rangers 2, Motherwell 1, Ross County 0, Dundee United 0, and Dundee against Hearts is a 5:30 kick-off. In the Championship, Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 1, Raith Rovers 1, Partick Thistle 0, and Morton 0, Hamilton Accies 0. In League 1, Dumbarton 1, Alloa 2, Arbroath 0, Montrose 0, Annan Athletic 0, Inverness Cally Thistle 0, Kelty Hearts 1, Stenhousemuir 0, and Queen of the South 0, Cove Rangers 0. In League 2, Clyde 0, Stranraer 0, East Fife 0, Edinburgh City 0, Peterhead 1, Forfar 0, Stirling Albion 0, Elgin City 1, and Spartans 0, Bonnyreg Rose 0. Your second halves are coming up next.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast with Lookers Audi. The fully electric Q4 is now available on Motability. Discover it today.
And she's off. The corner shop is in sight. The National Lottery sign is there, and she's heading right for it. Look at Rebecca. She's making a real difference just by playing the National Lottery. Her numbers help fund Team GB and Paralympics GB athletes, powering their journey to Paris, one ticket at a time. Oh, just look at her go. Unbelievable stuff. Changing lives like it's a walk to the shops.
The National Lottery, changing lives every day. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
For fans of football and unmissable shows, get Sky Sports and Sky TV in Ultra HD and Netflix all for our lowest price. Hurry, the Premier League starts next week. Go to sky.com. Require Sky Sports, Sky Ultimate TV in UHD for £43 a month on a 24-month contract with a minimum broadband speed of 25 megabits per second. New Sky TV customers only, 18 plus, terms apply. For fans of football and unmissable shows, get Sky Sports and Sky TV in Ultra HD and Netflix all for our lowest price. Hurry, the Premier League starts next week. Go to sky.com. Require Sky Sports, Sky Ultimate TV in UHD for £43 a month on a 24-month contract with a minimum broadband speed of 25 megabits per second. New Sky TV customers only, 18 plus, terms apply.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lookers Jaguar. Looking to sell your Jaguar? Contact them today for a no-obligation quotation.
Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel, Hugh Keevins are here. It's half-time in the 3 o'clock games. The big one at Hampden is Rangers 2, Motherwell 1. Motherwell already decimated by injury, having to make another change during the half. I wonder if they're all fighting fit for the second half, Andrew. And then for Rangers, any changes at the break with Tuesday in mind?
Yeah, I wouldn't expect there to be any changes from Motherwell, but there could be changes for Rangers, whether it is at this break or whether it is early in the second half, because the only two outfield players that are warming up out there with a coach are Ross McCausland and Dujon Sterling. Dujon Sterling certainly in need of game time because he's a player that has been in and out with injuries, not just at the start of this season and in pre-season as well, but he had those spells last season where he's not always fit, but he's a player that has shown that in a range of positions he can be very useful for Rangers, whether it is at right back, whether it's at central midfield. We've seen him play out on either wing for Rangers as well. A very useful option for them to have, but it's just whether he can keep himself fit or not. So you would expect that the two of them will make their entrance at some point. Just the way they're getting on at the moment, the fact that they're still out there passing a ball between the two of them, I would think it's probably likely that it will just be early in the second half rather than at the break. They've now actually just been joined by Leon Balogun as well, who's doing a bit of a warm-up. You do wonder, when it comes to Robin Proper, whether he will last the 90 minutes. It is his first outing in a Rangers shirt. It may be a case of Leon Balogun coming on for him at some point during the second half as well. We heard Philip Clement talk yesterday about some players not being able to play 90 minutes yet. You'd expect Václav Černý is one of those. He's looked impressive in his first Rangers start. He's maybe not got the absolute blistering pace, but that's not really the type of winger he is. He looks very intelligent on the ball. His goal, he took absolutely brilliantly, got into a real good bit of space, cut onto his left just outside the box, a really nice curling powerful strike past Aston Oxborough. So he'll be hoping that if he does have another 15-20 minutes or so in this second half, that he can make an impact before coming off. You'd expect with the quality that he's shown, he'll be one of the first names on the team sheet for Tuesday night if he's fit. But yeah, at the moment, still waiting for the teams to come out, but Dujon Sterling, Ross McCausland and Leon Balogun all out there warming up currently.
Meet Sage Copilot, your new AI productivity assistant, helping you add even more value to clients.
Copilot, create a 6-month forecast to share with my client.
So, if you're an accountant like Charlotte, it could mean spending more time on what matters most, like more face-to-face meetings with clients.
Latte for you, Americano for me.
Ah, lovely.
Accountants could save 3 days a month on admin. Search Sage Copilot to get early access today. Sage, helping business flow.
For fans of football and unmissable shows, get Sky Sports and Sky TV in Ultra HD and Netflix all for our lowest price. Hurry, the Premier League starts next week. Go to sky.com. Require Sky Sports, Sky Ultimate TV and UHD for £43 a month on a 24-month contract with a minimum broadband speed of 25 megabits per second. New Sky TV customers only, 18 plus, terms apply.
Yeah, I suppose, Gordon, for Tuesday, that sort of thing is twofold. You're either trying to protect players who have started this game, or you're trying to get players who are on the bench up to speed if you want to start them.
Yes, it's a balancing act. They'll have a game plan if everybody keeps fit. They don't need to necessarily make a substitution. They'll probably have times down for Proper and Tierney and people like that. And then you quite rightly say, Gordon, you want everybody up to speed. But I think you prefer the comfort of another goal. 3-1 puts them in a comfortable position. 2-1 still in balance.
We might not have restarted at Hampden, but we have in Dingwall, and already.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
1-0 to Dundee United. They were never in it in the first half. They had their goalkeeper to thank for saving a penalty, and now one of those summer signings, David Babunski, has opened the scoring on 48 minutes. He's the one that used to play under Pep at Barcelona, and now he plays under Jim Goodwin at Dundee United, with no offence to our good pal Jim Goodwin. I'm sure though the irony's not lost on him. He's been a really popular signing already for the Dundee United fans, and he's opened the scoring.
I think technically it looks very good. I was surprised, I must say, to see him with the armband last week. So it goes to show you the
Docherty injured.
Yeah, it shows you the impression he's made though to come into the club and get handed that by Jim Goodwin. But a very good player, looked lively last week in the Dundee derby, and he's got United off to a fly in the second half.
That's the kind of reaction you're looking for when you get at half time. Have a chat, tweak one or two wee things, tell him to start the second half well. Off to a goal and off to a nice start for the second half.
County will be kicking themselves, Hugh.
Yeah, but that's just too bad for them. They'll need to go and search.
Unprofessional, Hugh.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
That early in the second half. Yep, unprofessional.
Actually, do you know what? We are fooled because of how late things are at Hampden. It was about 4 minutes into the second half, believe it or not, that goal. Similarly, 5 minutes in, Annan Athletic 1 in for Ness Kelly Thistle 0. Tommy Goss, that's the players coming out at Hampden. So no changes, Andrew?
No changes, so it will be the same 11 that will start the game for Rangers. Motherwell, of course, made that change during the first half, so the players will have a chance to make an impact. Philip Clement will be wanting to get that next goal, but you would expect the players that were out there warming up, the likes of Ross McCausland, the likes of Dujon Sterling, it's probably only a matter of time before they make their way onto this Hampden pitch. Lennon Miller standing over the ball and gets us underway for the second half.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy. Get advice on keeping infections and viruses away when school returns.
So we're up and running at Hampden. We were already up and running in Dingwall, where Dundee United have taken the lead, and we're keeping an eye on our featured championship matches as well, because it's a bit all over the place this weekend with a 5:30 kick-off in the Premiership, 3 games tomorrow, and it's all spread out. The good news is we can reflect on it all on Monday night, but for the meantime, focus on Hampden and elsewhere. I don't think any of you will have changed your prediction that Rangers win this one. You're all out, luckily, because you predicted no Motherwell goal. But it should be a win from here, you would imagine, Hugh.
Well, it's an odd scoreline. You know, as I say, Motherwell have had so little by way of chances. Lennon Miller had an early one, then the own goal from Robin Propper. But at 2-1, I mean, it only takes one lucky kick of the ball and all of a sudden Rangers have problems. But they are so dominant, and they show no signs of disorientation because they're playing at a ground that's not theirs. And at the risk of labouring the point, apart from an outstanding goal from Cherny, one other magnificent ball to Scott Wright, which might have resulted in a goal. I go back to it, I think he looks a real find. And another reason for Celtic fans to say, so Rangers just go to the Bundesliga, get a guy from Wolfsburg and bring him over, and Celtic have spent 11 weeks trying to get a championship striker out of Norwich. I mean, how wide is the scouting network here?
Rangers 2, Motherwell 1, 46 on the clock, 47 at Hampden. You can stay in touch all afternoon at Clyde SSB, of course. Don't forget, Cherny's just had a shot that's blocked, sorry, it goes wide. Lawrence with the shot blocked as well. Rangers getting into the penalty box early on. I said you could send us a tweet as well if you want to get in touch before the phones light up a bit later on. You can do, please feel free. I've had one from Big G, who just wanted to thank you two, Mark Wilson, Gordon Dalziel. Wanted a mention to Harry, Harris, Gabriel Finn and the rest of the Eastern Bartonshire 2017s.
Oh, the young fellas that was in, yeah.
They came into the studio, they gave us a nice cheque, over nearly £3,000 actually, for Cash for Kids. They left here, they got soaked playing Knightswood in a friendly, but they were buzzing to meet you guys and get in the studio on Thursday night.
Well, great job for the team, the young team. They put on the football festival, didn't they? And then they raised all sorts of money with car parking and things like that. Took a leaf out of the NCP's book there, didn't they? Ripping people off to part of the motors. Raised almost £3,000. Exactly. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well done to the guys. Team. It was great to see everyone. Hopefully they've dried out after their friendly game.
That's when football was good. Remember those days when you were young and you could play like 3 games in a day. Festivals were amazing. I remember going through to, when I was younger, boys club, going through to the Nike festival through in Grangemouth. Teams through everywhere, and the player of the tournament got a contract with Nike.
Seriously?
Yeah, I always remember a boy through Dundee United going.
So about you always wore Adidas?
I deal with Zinos back in the days before they became fashionable.
What was the name of your team?
Dundee United.
Oh right, I thought you meant boys club.
Ever heard of them?
No, I thought you meant boys club. So
Dundee United boys club, then Dundee United Pro Youth.
Oh, is that right? Okay. It was all different.
I'm Dundee United Heart. See, you just think I went there for.
It was all different, man.
For the money, second time round, a real love for the club.
No, you didn't. You went for the cash, and nobody else would take you. Let's be plain honest about that.
I'm not going full George Bowie shout out mode here, but I've had a message in looking for a mention for someone in your neck of the woods, actually, Gordon.
Yeah.
Wanting a wee mention to Graham Donaldson from DLFPs. He's hanging up the boots after 22 years at the club. He's 40 years old, some innings, barrelload of goals, leads trophies, multiple top scorers, and the guys wanted to give him a wee mention.
Do you all former pupils?
He hangs up the boots. So there we go. Well done to all involved.
So what level is that?
Amateur.
Amateur.
Yeah.
And you're playing to 40 at amateur.
Some
what are you thinking? Just, the aches and pains that you must have, and you're still.
Not everyone's legs are as.
When I was 40, I was
as damaged as yours,
I
Mark
was
Wilson?
flying.
Well, I'm feeling pretty stiff today. Went to the gym last night for my first run since being back. I'm
Your
bits.
first one.
I'm in bits
He
today.
lost a lot of weight at Kilimanjaro,
Does
didn't he?
Yeah, he looks. I was watching him
Lot of
coming in the
fluids.
car park today, and that's the first thing I thought. Look at the state of him.
Can I stay? We've jumped. That's quite a big jump for he lost a bit of weight to look at the stadium. Well, no, they feed you a lot on the mountain, but also they must know where it's coming at.
Yeah, that's
Aye,
plenty.
okay. I'm glad you. I'm glad you shared.
It's altitude. It's
People are having a
affects you in
lunch.
different ways. Tell you that.
No goals to tell you about in the second halves yet. I should say the SWPL season's getting underway this weekend as well, with Celtic being at Easter Road tomorrow. The women's team got the chance to raise their league flag at Celtic Park today. They played Dundee United and won 9-0. So the champions picking up where they left off last season in the SWPL. And one to keep an eye on. It's always a close title race there, so we'll see what Rangers and Glasgow City have to say. Kelty Hearts 2, Stenhousemuir 0. Ross Cunningham adding to Scott Allen's opener for Kelty. I know Stenny obviously coming up, winning the League 2 title. Got a good result last weekend. We're hoping to carry that on, but Kelty Hearts had or have other ideas.
It's a good signing that for Kelty. Scott Allen, was he across in Ireland for
He was
a
at
time?
loan in
Yep.
Larne.
I actually thought he'd retired. I said to him last Sunday.
Oh, I heard about this because I was off.
Oh, you didn't,
And
did
you,
you?
you were off, Mark Wilson.
I was,
and he said live on air who you played for. I thought you'd retired.
I honestly,
How did they take that?
listen, lovely boy. I've got a lot of time for him, but he took it all right.
Because footballers love that when they're still playing. You retired? How you enjoying retirement? Still playing, mate.
I thought he was driving a taxi. No, but that's great to see. He's good. He was a good player, Scott, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a good. He's right them off.
I never
The
really.
guy's looking for another move for Kelty. He was a good player.
That's his last move, Kelty. Surely. What age would he be?
Can't wait. He's in again.
Keep digging.
He's about 35, surely.
He's not younger than me.
What?
He's only 31, 32.
Not a chance.
Have you seen him? See how fresh face he is?
Yeah, but he's.
What a skincare routine that man's got.
Oh, yeah, he
It's a lot of effort, and didn't he, Scott?
He uses expensive
32.
cream. There he
32,
goes.
he's still
Nearly
got another
35.
4 or 5 years.
So he is.
You've finished him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rangers 2, Motherwell 1 in the big game at Hampden. No real pressing home of Rangers' advantage yet in the second half, but it is early days. I'm not as quick to judge as Hugh Keevins. We're only about 7 minutes into the second half, and no real danger for Motherwell yet.
Well, as I say, 2-1 is a peculiar scoreline. Doesn't matter about Rangers' domination, how many shots they have, etc., etc. There is still a chance for Motherwell.
Let's do this while we can, Hugh.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Now, Gordon Dalziel might be writing down the answer before I get to the end of the question, but
I can honestly tell you, I've no idea.
I think this is a toughie. I have played alongside Derek McInnes, John Stones, and Doris De Vries. I have been managed by Roy Keane and Roberto Martinez. I have played in the top flight in Scotland and England, and I have represented my country at a World Cup. Who am I? Played alongside Derek McInnes, John Stones, and Doris De Vries. Managed by Roy Keane and Roberto Martinez. Played in the top flight in Scotland and England, and represented my country at a World Cup.
I think that's doable for our audience. Our audience are incredible at these things. They get them all right, so I fully expect them to get this one. But it is a good question. If you want to see all that written down, please go to our Twitter feed at Clyde SSB. You can see it written down, and that is where you submit your answer. Tweet us at Clyde SSB. Robin Proper has gone into the book. He's had an interesting debut.
Yeah.
He's scored an own goal. He's gone into the book, but ultimately Rangers are on top here. It's a rare type of foul. I would say he fouled two Motherwell players at the same time. I don't know if I've really seen that too often. But anyway, free kick drops to Zach Robinson, but he's sliced it wide. So a rare opportunity for Motherwell, Gordon. They're not going to come along too often. So
No, but listen, that's encouraging signs for Motherwell, and the fact that Rangers haven't put them to bed yet. It's 3-1. They've not got to 3-1, so they're still in the game. And something like that, Hugh's right, could take a wonder goal, a set play. They've already had an OG, so it could take anything. So Rangers just need to be careful as much as they're dominating.
This is not a clear, it's not a sitter or anything close to it, but it does sit up for Zach Robinson round about the penalty spot. It sits up nice and he doesn't hit the target. It's not a bad chance for Motherwell, and really he would at least have been looking to trouble Jack Butland, but he couldn't do that. And I'm always interested when teams do it, they don't make the change at the break, but it's coming. Sterling and McCausland ready to come on for Rangers. So two things: freshen up today, think about Tuesday.
And they have to think about Tuesday. They're in a strange position right now, Rangers, because they haven't put this game to bed. I can imagine the Rangers supporters at Hampden will be saying, come on, what's going on here? And Tuesday, I cannot underestimate the importance of Tuesday night's game against Dynamo Kiev, because you get money that you'll be able to spend in the transfer window, and also you move to within 180 minutes of being in the Champions League, and that brings the kind of money that Rangers truly need. If they don't get that money, it becomes a harder shift for Philippe Clement.
Chance for, like we said, Gordon, whether it's about bringing someone off, so I don't know what the change is yet, but let's have a look at it. Here it comes. So if Lawrence and Cherney coming off, that's probably with a view to starting Cherney on Tuesday, but bringing Sterling on might also be with a view to
start him. Yeah, because I think Sterling, when he's 100% fit, as a must starter. I think he's a big part of the team. I think he's a terrific player.
He's got to go on at left back though, by the looks of it.
Yeah, he can play in Yilmaz.
Motherwell. No, it's not Lawrence and Cherney off.
Oh, is it? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. So Tom Lawrence and
Sterling going to Midley Park.
Sterling and McCausland on. Motherwell have made a change, so that's what you're thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And that allows he can sit there and protect the back four, Sterling, if he wants. Or we've seen him before getting up the pitch high. He's got everything in his locker. I like him. I think he's a very, very good player.
Steve Seddon off, Tom Sparrow on for Motherwell.
Well, as I say, the game's not been put to bed yet, and Rangers have to be careful that the dreaded sucker punch can always come along and affect you.
I'm telling you, that's no.
Mark Wilson, you're still
two guesses, yeah,
on the teaser. Not happening.
You're telling me it's not. Why?
I'm telling you, it's not.
How are you so confident that wasn't?
Because I've got it.
Oh, you got it already?
Yeah, already.
Let's see. We'll decide.
I'll tell you what I'll do with you. You've got the. No, you haven't. It's got to say the first name. I'm going to go this guy here.
He's writing it down. He's got it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, he's got it. Yep.
He's got it.
Boom.
Dumbarton 2, Alloa 2. Game of the day down the league's a 4-goal thriller. James Hilton's equalised for the Suns. Queen of the South 0, Cove Rangers 1 there. So the Community Shield in England.
How are we doing against the Reds?
Who cares, the Community Shield?
Oh, well, I'd care because it's one of my teams.
Gives peace. Man City 0, Man United 0. Good game.
That'll go at penalty kicks.
Always does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's never. They don't take it that serious, do they?
What is the point in that? Community Shield now.
Well,
I remember the days it was
teams,
exciting.
It's a good competitive game before the season
I don't
starts.
Mind it. What I do mind is when people reference it like it's a trophy.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, Man City's team today is. Sure, I got a glimpse of it. It's got a few big hitters as you'd expect, but not many.
There's some lesser known names within that. And Johnny Evans still playing for Man United. Incredible.
Anyway, I've had a truly disturbing tweet and it involves you, Gordon.
No, it can't involve me. I've been quiet.
I'm going to step in here and intercept this. I will not allow this to happen.
Brilliant.
You remember a few months ago or a couple of months ago, Craig Connolly, the caddy,
my best pal,
phoned in.
Great guy.
Martin Keimer's caddy.
Yeah.
And you, because you are fond of a freebie, asked him when are you bringing me some golf balls. He sent me a picture.
Got any?
4 boxes.
Yeah.
No. There is no chance you're getting all these. Because I'll tell you why. You come in here and you brag all the time to Mark Wilson, I can play 5 rounds with the one ball, I can play 10 rounds with the one ball.
I play a lot of golf.
I don't lose golf balls. There is no way you need 4 boxes of Pro V1s when you don't lose golf balls.
You get through them in the par 5.
Exactly. Exactly. Mark Wilson and I need them.
Look, what I'm prepared to do is, if he's given me a present, I'll share a present.
Hold on, it's not just you.
Hold on,
I'm sure we chipped in the conversation
hold on,
as well.
Stop the bus.
There's even a wee hat on top of a love hat.
Brilliant. Is my name next to that?
What did they say in
It
the
just
tweet?
says DL and then the
I
eyes
love
emoji.
that boy. I love that boy.
Oh, hold on.
He'll be
I've met
caddying
Craig
for
many
me.
times, and he's just
You're
excluded
not
me for
really
this
a
deal.
golf, mate.
but I've
You're
told
not a
you-
golfer.
I've told
You're
you.
a wasted golf ball.
That's the point. You can't have it both ways. You're always bragging to us about how you use one golf ball
but
one a month. If
They're
you're
my special golf balls.
Hold on a minute. You were telling me in the office that you've changed your golf ball from that particular brand.
I have not. I went just for a couple of cheap ones because obviously I was waiting, and my mate.
that would last you 40 years.
Look, I'm prepared to give. If you are playing golf, we'll all
We're
share.
a team. We'll give you a box as well.
Yeah.
Just to juggle with
Aye.
or something like
To
that. Can you
roll
juggle?
around the flat. Good chance for Falkirk. McKeever through on goal, shot wide, probably should have scored, added to his goal from earlier. It lifted the noise from the Falkirk endo. They've woken back up and hoping to press home their advantage in that one in the Championship. Let's do a quick glance then at the wrong answers on your teaser, please, Hugh.
You okay? I have played alongside Derek McInnes, John Stones and Doris De Vries. Been managed by Roy Keane and Roberto Martinez. I've played in the top flight in both Scotland and England, and I've represented my country at a World Cup. Who am I?
Lewis Hewson thinks it's Kolo Touré.
No, it's not.
Luke Johnson thinks it's Ashley Williams.
No.
And Jamie McGuigan thinks it's Aidan McGeady.
No.
Okay.
Knowing this guy like I do, I cannot imagine Roy Keane managing him.
I thought you were talking about me.
This player
No,
in question.
this player in question.
All right,
Well,
okay.
More from you on that later
Yeah.
on. Don't give it away.
Why not? I like
more
Roy
more
Keane.
on me.
I like Roy Keane. I think he's very, very good.
More on that later on, I'm sure. Don't give it away. Don't give his name away.
Oh, good player.
I was keen to get your thoughts. Did you see that stuff? I actually don't know if it's true. I kind of hope it's not, because it just depresses me, this stuff. I like attention to detail as much as the next guy. But did you see that tweet, that story the other day that Mikel Arteta arranged for all these players to get pickpocketed at some sort of meal or some sort of gathering? Again, it might just be nonsense, but it was on Twitter. They arranged for a professional pickpocket to come and pickpocket his players to teach them to be aware and alert at all times.
No. Nah. I honestly.
Gary Caldwell tried that at Partick Thistle when he took them
pickpocketing?
No, took them to the, what was it?
Oh, you got them like SAS kidnapped or
Yeah,
something.
it ended up
Yeah.
with one player crying, and it was also, I mean,
It's a nonsense.
That sounds like endorsing crime more than teaching your players a
That
lesson.
team building used to do my
And who is the
head in.
pickpocketer? How's he recruited him or her?
I don't know.
Is there a website that
It was
I'm
Steve.
a pickpocketer?
It was Steve Round. He's assistant manager. He just walked about.
Where have they got him from? I'm a professional pickpocketer.
Something like Oliver Twist or something like that. I don't know. But apparently a team of pickpockets and asked them to empty their pockets at the end of the meal with a number of them missing valuable items to teach his squad the importance of being alert at all times.
You've been at a dinner before where the magician comes round and he does it all in front of your eyes, and then all
Don't
of a
mention
sudden,
that to Mark.
he's got your watch.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's got
don't
my
mention
Amiga
that to
watch.
Mark.
I've seen that before.
Pickpocket, honestly, I'm not kidding you. Where's this going to end?
The thing that bugs
Got
me
to be
is-
scanning at all times
Yeah,
over
but-
your
no,
shoulder.
but this is the
That's
problem.
nonsense.
This is the
Your dinner.
problem with all this stuff. Is at some point Mikel Arteta will give an interview to say, I mean, it's really important that the players get to switch off so that they can fully focus. You know, they will. All these things, just the contradictions just
But
swirl around.
you'd be questioning him when he gives you a few days off. You'd be just constantly on edge in case somebody robs your full family or stuff.
Breaks,
Your
steals your
furniture
mower.
isn't in. You
Where
got to
am I
be scanning.
BM?
That is nonsense. And we does in this one.
Ah.
You don't
Fair.
like Arteta, do you?
Nah, I hate him.
It would
Can't
suit-
stand him.
I think that's a bit strong.
Nah.
It would suit you two down to the ground. You famously got your Omega watch stolen by a pretend magician.
Well, I didn't
You
see it
also
coming.
got a Range Rover stolen from your driveway.
I didn't help. It shows how unaware I was.
And you once got your club suit stolen whilst you were playing.
Yeah. I remember that.
What was the story behind that again?
We were playing Ian Durant's comeback at Rangers, and we played them at Starts Park, and I was coming back for injury as well, and myself and Peter Hairston walked into the dressing room. We started arguing because obviously our 2 suits had gone, and we thought each other had played a prank. And what had happened was the kit man left the window open. Somebody went across, jumped up, leaned in, took the full lot. My wallet, my Rolex, everything gone. I tried to claim 300 in the wallet, but the insurance company weren't having that at all.
What did you go home in? What did you wear?
I stayed overnight, and we wore tracksuits. We went to dancing. We went in tracksuits. It was brilliant.
That's exactly what you would do after your suit's been knocked.
But no, the best bit about it, right, was we went with tracksuits and socks and shoes. So the next morning we were walking round to get the car to go down the road. So we're obviously just going down, and I says to Peter, I says, do you know, I would love it if they stole your car as well. Sure as I'm sitting here, boom, car was away. Stole the car. So they went in, stole his, obviously went about and just flicked the keys. His car opened, bang, in the car.
Brilliant. That would be great.
That's great.
That's
brilliant. I don't know if we're allowed to condone.
Was listening to this story right now and saying, remember in the 80s that we stole these suits?
I wonder what he found in my pockets.
I don't.
I'm a bit worried.
Queen of the South 1, Cove Rangers 1, East Fife 2, Edinburgh City 0. Not been a vintage half for David Friel between Raith Rovers and Partick Thistle. Raith Rovers do lead by a goal to 0, don't they? Yeah, it's been so long since that goal went in, I had lost track.
Not a vintage second half at Hampden either. It could be said.
Not,
the Rangers fans would be perplexed. You know, they're well into the game now, quarter of the game left, and they still haven't added to their 2-1 lead, so therefore the possibility of the sucker punch remains.
7,500 at Fraser Wishart's game between Dunfermline and Falkirk, like that in the
Good
Championship.
There's a man for the crowd.
You're the crowd correspondent.
I think the crowds are responding. Honestly, I think they're getting. You look at St Mirren, for instance, right, in the last couple of games, full houses in Paisley. When's the last time that happened? Now you're getting the Championship, 7,000 there. Brilliant, absolutely well done to everybody that puts their hand in their pocket and goes and supports their local team.
Partick Thistle trying to respond. It's a good effort from Aidan Fitzpatrick, but it is saved as Raith look to try and take all 3 points. Managerless Raith, who of course announced today that they do have a preferred candidate, but that person is in another job, so it's either Darren O'Dea, Peter Leaven or Gordon Dalziel. You can make your own mind up on those 3.
Would you describe what you do as a job?
Yeah, and I do it very well. I just, you look at, I don't think Peter Leaven, I think he's already ruled himself out, hasn't he?
I don't know, has he?
Yeah, I think he would. Yeah, Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, what?
You've just ruled him out.
I think I'm sure I read, I'm not too sure, somebody could correct me, I'm sure I read that Peter Leaven ruled himself out of that job. Right, Darren O'Dea,
he's ruled himself out as well.
Oh, he's definitely out. No, what's his role at Celtic?
Professional pathway.
Pathway. That's, you're at Celtic Football Club. It's just if you feel like going out and having a go yourself. Listen, management's not easy. Ask Mark.
There's no need for that.
Michael O'Halloran on, Witherspoon off in Fraser Wishart's game, Dunfermline against Falkirk. Pars need something, need a bit of inspiration. I told you the game of the day is Dumbarton and Alloa by the looks of it. 3-2 now to Dumbarton. Michael Ruth put them back in front. Queen of the South 2, Cove 1. Michael Hewitt with the goal there. Another dabble at the full-time teaser, the second half teaser, sorry, Hugh.
Okay, who am I? I have played alongside Derek McInnes, John Stones and Doris De Vries. I've been managed by Roy Keane and Roberto Martinez. I have played in the top flight in Scotland and England, and I have represented my country at a World Cup.
Derek wanted to throw in Stan Varga.
Throw him back out.
Bird Mackay wanted to throw in James McCarthy.
No.
Okay.
What's James McCarthy doing these days? He's still
enjoying himself, probably.
I wonder what he's up to.
Yeah, not a lot.
Not a lot.
Does he play with the B team?
No, he does not.
Doesn't even play with the B team. That's the best job in the world, isn't it?
4-year.
How good is that? Honestly, nothing better. If you walk into a club, you sign a 4-year and they say, right, okay, you're not going to play.
Some people actually
Brilliant.
like to play football, though. They're not
Nonsense.
all like you. Good chance there for Rangers. Tavernier's corner. Sterling free header, centre of the goal, over the bar. He'll be frustrated at that one. I'm absolutely certain of it as we move towards the 70-minute mark. We've been here before. If Rangers get out of here and it's a 2-1, they'll take it. They'll be happy enough. The 3 points, but
the shine comes off it ever so slightly.
Just looking to try and be more dominant than they have been. Not more dominant, but more clinical.
Again, I think sandwiched in between two hugely important European games, you just take the result and move on. But those Rangers fans who are looking at the wider picture, who cast their mind back to pre-season, there will be slight concerns there. Again, I'm hearing that they're playing better and looks maybe a wee bit more fluid than has been the case, but I think they're still looking for more on the pitch.
Rabbi Matondo is going to be next to come on, so again we did expect Rangers to use that squad to its fullest today, whether it is resting players or getting other players minutes in their legs ahead of Thursday, because those wide areas are still up for grabs, are they not? I mean, you look at Scott Wright and Cherney starting today, Cherney having a positive impact,
McCausland coming on. Started the other night there, had a great effort off the post. He's not had a lot of game time, McCausland, throughout the pre-season. I think Cherney is a certainty, right? He's obviously been brought in. He looks very good. I agree with Hugh. I think he's got terrific ability, what I've seen so far. But there's, Cortez obviously injured. I think that would be his preferred two, and the rest would just play second fiddle.
Chance Motherwell there, 2 quick passes gets them into the box. Robinson's shot was going towards the bottom corner. Here's one for you Rangers fans. Robin Proper down injured and signalling to the bench. That is not what Rangers need with all the injuries that they've had. I'll tell you what, just to reflect on the chance first, it's actually a brilliant save from Jack Butland. Motherwell could very much be level here if it wasn't for the outstretched left arm of Jack Butland.
That's the danger.
I agree with you, Mark. On you go.
When the scoreline's like this in the balance and Motherwell have got nothing to lose going into these final 20 minutes, going to throw bodies forward, and Rangers with Butland to thank. Terrific save to keep it at 2-1.
If you're critical of Rangers, that's the one thing you'll say. They don't go and blow teams away. You know, they get into good positions, they've got a lot of possession, but they just don't kill games and put themselves under a little bit of pressure.
Robin Proper staying on for now for a corner, but no, there he goes. Balogun is going to just come on, so Matondo comes on with Balogun, and it's Scott Wright and Robin Proper off.
Well, Proper is a blow. The way Philippe Clement looks at life, football life, he's already thinking, no, he won't start for me on Tuesday. Maybe it would be a physical impossibility for him to start or come on or do anything, but in Clement's mind, I think he's discarded him for Tuesday.
I think if he'd come through this fit, he would have played on Tuesday.
Do you not think so here?
No, I think he's Clement's, as I say, his style would be, he's not fit enough yet.
No, but he was fit, remember. He was the fit one. It was Cherney that wasn't. Proper's fit. I think he was playing on Tuesday unless this injury is too much. It's a difficult debut, this, Gordon, because Motherwell haven't attacked enough to really see him defensively. He's scored an own goal, he's been booked, and now he's gone off injured. And Rangers' defensive unit actually hasn't looked brilliant, but they've not been called into action that much.
No, that's
sort of hard to assess.
I think it'll be different Tuesday night, because this team have capabilities of, putting you under pressure, especially 2 centre backs. That's where he's trying to get a solid base. I keep going back to it. As much as you're right in saying that he could look at Balogun for Tuesday, I like Balogun. I think he gives him that insurance to get up the pitch a little bit, because he's got bags of pace. He's a good defender. It's not been a great start to his Rangers career proper. We just hope that it's just a precaution. He's back in the squad. But I think playing him today, I think Clement would have had an eye on playing him on Tuesday night.
To isolate this match before we get to the European tie, if Motherwell were to equalise, this goes down as a disastrous day.
Oh yeah, for sure. And the thing is, really since the break, and by the way we're in the 75th minute, I say that as if the break was recently, in terms of chances, with the Sterling header, a couple of others, but that the save from Jack Butland there, the one that Zach Robinson hits wide, maybe in the balance of those, a Motherwell equaliser wouldn't be that surprising. They've not had a lot of the ball.
I think Rangers are at this point just now, and this is why they're trying to be more solid at the back. Rangers will give you goals. There's no doubt. Rangers aren't a team that you look and think they're going to get a lot of clean sheets. Now, Proper has been brought in to add that bit of experience as well. Unfortunately, he's limped off. It's back to Balogun and Suter. But I keep going back to it. Rangers just now aren't a team with all the possession that will blow you away. And that's a problem, because if they don't get that comfortable lead, they always leave themselves open for a sucker punch.
It's also not really their style, though. We've commented on this when things aren't going well. They do tend to prefer maybe crosses into the box or long balls over the top. They're not built around that, sort of consistent possession, wave after wave of attack. Anyway, Motherwell make a change. Davor off and Moses Ibiye comes on. Quite unpredictable. You don't always know what you're going to get, but he has scored some good goals in a Motherwell jersey, and he would love nothing more, I'm sure, than to come on here and grab an equaliser. But 75 gone, Rangers 2, Motherwell 1.
I think Rangers fans should have serious concerns about the back line. Not just those centre half positions, but as a unit. Looking back at Tynecastle and hearing about the goal today and some of those chances, disjointed. I think there's a lot of work to be done off the pitch and on the training field to get that right. You need to get it right quickly, because European games, you'll get punished for the slightest mistakes. Just looking at the goal that they conceded as well today, it was all over the place in terms of how they were shaped up, similar at Tynecastle last week. That isn't a trend that you want to continue throughout a season.
So Moses Ibiye on, as we said, for Motherwell as they look to pull off an unlikely result here. Did I just see, Gordon? I think you will be happy. I'm sure it was City that have taken the lead.
Who scored?
There has been a goal in that game.
Yeah, we're too good.
I just thought it's United, sorry.
Alright, okay. We're not bothered about this one.
Garnacho on 82 minutes, if you care. Dumbarton 3, Alloa 3, what I keep telling you. Scott Taggart,
game.
6-goal thriller there, maybe not over yet.
Again, to isolate this game and forget about the Dynamo Kiev for a moment, this is Rangers playing a Motherwell team that's makeshift at best, and who couldn't even keep the starting 11 on the park, and their recent signing having to go off injured. So there's nothing really glowing about this performance and scoreline.
No, there's still time for Rangers to put gloss on it, but this second half showing so far, it won't be exciting the Rangers fans. Philippe Clement's actually looking frustrated on the sidelines. He's doing the universal gesture for frustration, throwing the two arms up in the air when Rangers give the ball away.
Well, yeah, of course he's right to be frustrated if they're giving it away cheaply, but I just wonder, again, going back to the style, it's a big thing that Rangers fans have mentioned throughout pre-season and last week, and similar patterns we're hearing today. They're kind of the opposite from Celtic. When you see Celtic playing, they're attacking, and their wide guys go right in the touchline, the stretch teams, and their fullbacks come in, and it's all intricate and nice little passes, and then exploit those wide. Rangers wide guys come in the pitch, and everything's heavily reliant on James Tavernier being passed the ball and flipping it in the box and hoping that Dessers gets a flick on. I think there's got to be more imagination, more creativity. I think Rangers fans are entitled to that with the squad of players they've got and the players that they can bring to the club, and that's down to Philippe Clement. Then that's not down to the players. That's the way they've been coached to play.
There's also a slight shakiness at the back, Gordon, that probably won't please Philippe Clement.
Yeah, I think that's where the problem lies just now. I think he's got to get that balance. You've got to give Proper a bit of time to settle in. He's been brought in for his experience. Who does he partner with? Just now you look at it, would probably be Suter, but my opinion is I think Balogun right now is the best defender Rangers have got. I really do. Get back to their style. They play basic football. They've got better players than Motherwell, i.e. that's why they're winning, but they play basic football. They don't play they don't come out and play a tactic that would surprise you if you were opposition coach, let me say that.
Rico Diac was allowed to come on for Partick Thistle today.
Oh, good. He'll be buzzing.
I know that's not often the case, but he did come on, and Kevin Dabrowski's just pulled off a save to deny Rico Diac in that one.
Down to 10 men, no?
Still,
Partick,
Who you sent off?
Scott
Robinson, a straight red. It just came about whilst we had a flurry of activity at Hampden, and it got overlooked. But Mark has got his finger on the pulse. He's absolutely right. Thistle down to 10 men. It's not ideal. Not an ideal showing for the Jags.
It's not a good start. I think there were a few of us in here tipped him plenty of time ago, of course, a lot of games, but we tipped Partick. We were expecting a better start of the season from Partick.
Looks like Kieran Dowell is next to come on. He's been called back, which fine in isolation. Kieran Dowell. That means no Danilo again. 3 games in a row where the striker doesn't come on at all. Now, Philippe Clement was asked about it, and he said sometimes it's harder when you're not winning, sort of thing, to put the striker on.
I think it's easy.
See, you touched on it last week. I think some of the things that Philippe Clement says in his post and pre-match press conferences does baffle me, and that's another for me. If you're not winning the game and you've got Dessers who's played what seems like every minute of every game, then why not?
Yeah, he said if you're leading the game, it's also easier to give some minutes.
Well, they're leading the game.
Yeah.
Well, exactly, that's what I was going to say. So fine if he thinks that's the explanation up until now, but in this game, the reason I thought that comment was strange anyway, because to state the obvious, you can be winning a game, you can be losing the game, but you can also be drawing it. So that Tynecastle last week, I don't think you're sort of hanging Danilo out to dry by bringing him on. You know, it's not like you're protecting a lead. You're throwing him on there maybe alongside Dessers even if you want to try and get your winner. But anyway, another game where it looks like no Danilo.
That's surprising. It really is.
See, last week in the Tynecastle game, if I'm a centre half and I've played against Dessers all day,
just quickly, confirmation: Diamande off, Dowell on.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if I'm Martin Dessers all day and all of a sudden Danilo comes on, now whatever you think, come on, he might not be as good a player as Dessers or whatever, but as a centre half you're playing against something different for the last 10 minutes, something probably unpredictable that you've used the full game to get to know the striker you're playing against. So of course it makes a difference. You know, it changes something up, and it wasn't as if Dessers was really, running amok in that game. You think, I've got to keep this guy on because he's going to score. So surprising last week, surprising this week.
Or does he just not fancy him?
In the corner.
Does he not just fancy him as a...
Well, what they cost? £6 million.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they cost, but I can't get the explanation either. You've got to get him on the pitch today. If you've no excuses. You're winning 2-1. Your strikers sort of falling out the game a little bit, or bring them on with Dessers and ask Motherwell, give them a different problem, because it's, by the sounds of things, it's went a little bit flat. Motherwell's had a good chance. I can't understand that.
I think the entire second half had been flat for Rangers. Motherwell have been the better team in the second half, but for Jack Butland, the game would be level. His save was terrific.
Quick look at the teaser, Hugh, if you can. I think there's a few people just needing that bit of extra motivation to get it right.
I have played alongside Derek McInnes, John Stones and Doris De Vries. I have been managed by Roy Keane and Roberto Martinez. I have played in the top flight in Scotland and England, and I've represented my country at a World Cup. Who am I?
I love this from JB, who says Colin Samuel.
No.
And then he says, that's a rotten guess actually, can I get a second shot? you can do what you like. You can throw as many in there as you want. Can see some people getting it right. Yeah, okay, you've got about another, what will we say, 5 minutes or so. Oh, don't worry, City have equalised in the big Community Shield.
We never give up.
Bernardo
That's what we were always taught.
Silva.
The citizens never give up.
You never give up. Was in the tunnel.
I was going to say Colin Samuel came to Dundee United, and I think I might have told you this before, and Ian McCall signed him and he said, this guy's the fastest guy. You're unbelievable. But I was sharing digs, and my best mate at that time was rapid. And who's your fastest player here? Because Ian McCall was just in. He said, Danny Ogamari, he's the fastest player. Colin Samuel wiped the floor. He set up a 100-metre race
100
at training.
It's a bit excessive for a footballer.
And we're all looking, going, what's happening here? Oh, Danny White to floor with him. Nah, I don't think. I think that's why Colin Samuel's Dundee United career didn't take off. The poor guy was thrust into a race. He didn't want to go in.
Why would a footballer want to run 100 metres?
Well, it was a big training ground.
It's a bit long. Anyway, penalty Falkirk, foul on Ross McKeever, Callum Morrison to take, and he scores.
With M&D Green Pharmacy.
Sent the goalie the wrong way, and that will be that. Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 2. Callum Morrison, the League One Player of the Year from last season, scoring goals now in the Championship, and that should be 3 points to the Bairns.
And 2 defeats in a row for James McPake at Dunfermline, and therefore James McPake under pressure straight away. But John McGlynn, Falkirk, 6 points, joint top with Dundee United. Magnificent start to the season.
And two difficult fixtures when you look at it on the face of it. You know, the Queen's Park in the first game, and then away to Dunfermline. You would have looked at that and thought, we could have got an easier start. But yeah, well done, John McGlynn. And am I right in saying he didn't really add much to his squad?
Yeah, barely anything.
Yeah, barely anything.
And
that takes a lot of confidence.
And lost Stephen McGinn, who was his captain.
Yeah, takes a lot of confidence in your squad, a lot of belief. Quite like that. You know, knowing that you've got enough to make an impression in the league above. That's good.
Just trying to keep continuity, isn't it? And hope that the feel-good factor carries you from one season to the next, and putting a bit of faith in the guys that got you there. He's made the odd signing, I think, but not.
The way the play is supposed to be really good, really attractive as well. So Falkirk fans will enjoy that.
Full-time whistles are starting to go actually down the leagues. Dumbarton 3, Alloa 3. A well-deserved share of the spoils after a brilliant game by the sounds of it. Peterhead 2, 4 for 1. I think we should probably round off the teaser if we're at full-time whistle stage already, Hugh.
The second half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I played alongside Derek McInnes, John Stones and Doris De Vries. I was managed by Roy Keane and Roberto Martinez. I have played in the top flight in both Scotland and England, and I represented my country at a World Cup. I am Jason Scotland.
Jason Scotland, well done if you got it right. Colin McQueen got it. Well done to you, Colin. You were in third place. Celtic FC Trivia was in second place. If you've got trivia in your name, you really got to know your stuff. But the winner was Scott Connie. Well done to you, Scott. Jason Scotland the answer, Scott Connie the winner, and we move on to next week. Well done to all involved. Good question, that. Really good. Tough but doable, just as we like it. Although the full-time whistles are going down the leagues, I don't think it's particularly imminent at Hampden. There's probably about 3 of the 90 to go, and then whatever's added on. We had the odd delay there for a couple of injuries and lots of substitutions. Full time in the Championship, Morton 0, Hamilton Accies 0.
It's a second 0-0 from Morton.
Is it?
0-0 against Thistle last week, 0-0 against Hamilton this week. At least they're keeping clean sheets though. And they've lost Oakley, haven't they?
And Muirhead as well, didn't
and Muirhead.
They went to Livingston.
Yeah.
So anyway, Partick Thistle making a late push, trying to get one back with the 10 men. I suppose even though you're down to 10, you can do that, can't you? There's just something about the momentum of a game that you throw everything at it at the end.
All of a sudden Raith will be the one that think they've got 10 men because they're being dragged towards their own goal. Come on, Thistle, get an equaliser.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying what everybody else thinks.
No, come on. It puts Dunfermline bottom of the league. I could add a little bit of pressure to the manager.
About league tables after 2 games?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the managers say we don't look at the league tables until
Christmas.
When do they start looking at them actually?
Yeah.
The first round of fixtures is usually what some people say, don't they? You've played everyone, you've had a look at each other.
The board certainly
I think they
look
should
at
ban that. They should ban that saying from managers. Don't look at the league table when they're sitting third and they're buzzing. See if you're I was Stephen Robertson, wasn't it, last year when he was sitting? Was it third, second or third?
95 minutes on the clock in Dingwall.
Goal flashes with M&D Green Pharmacy.
And County have equalised. They've snatched a draw deep into injury time, and it's the man that they signed to try and replace Simon Murray's goals, Ronan Hale. A terrific goal scoring record in Ireland. He came over, started on fire in the League Cup group stages, and he's carried it on in the Scottish Premiership. Ronan Hale makes it 1-1 in the 95th minute. An easy finish from Alex Samuels' cross.
Blow for Jim
yeah,
Goodwin.
Gutted for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Listen, any chance of you just trying to...
No, I'm not being impartial.
It's not about your employer or your pals. Any chance of
That's just my ex-club. I've got a love for Dundee United as well. But the margins are so thin. You know, they could have had 3 points last week. They could have had 3 points this week, but 2 points out of 2, I suppose, for a team coming up, not bad. But well done, Ross County.
Oh, that's a singer.
95 minutes.
Oh, it's a singer.
If the first half's anything to go by, they would have deserved it anyway, Gordon. So
Yeah,
we can't grudge them.
yeah. But look, it was always got to be a difficult game. But you think you've got the 3 points, you think you're going to enjoy that journey down the road, and then all of a sudden you get that. But well done, Don Cowie and Ross County. Good fight back. Always play at the final whistle. You were taught that since you were a young boy.
I did say I thought
good modern coaching.
I thought we were in for a fairly lengthy period of additional time, just because you always get that now with VAR and probably about 10 substitutions, but there's only 2 minutes added at Hampden.
That's strange.
And actually there's a bit of a let-off for, not a let-off as such, a heart-and-mouth moment. The cross comes in, Kieran Dowell deflects it over his own bar, and Cyril Dessers is down. But it's full time at Starks Park. Let's hear from David Friel.
Yeah, full time. Gordon, Raith 1, Partick Thistle 0. Big cheers around me. No manager, but no problem for Raith. They pick up the first win of the season. Stand-in Bosch John Potter delivered for them. He's in charge for 1 game only, and he's picked up a win. It's far too early to say if it was the right decision to sack Ian Murray. That happened last weekend. This was a positive step from Raith. They certainly will have a new manager in place for the next game. There's certainly plenty of talent in this squad on this evidence. Thistle will feel probably hard done by. They did have chances. Raith keeper Kevin Dabrowski was outstanding all afternoon, but this was a disappointing day for Chris Doolan's men, capped by a late red card for Scott Robinson. He got a straight red for a foul on Aidan Connolly. Partick started really well, as I said. Raith then took the lead from the spot in 27 minutes. Rosiri Williams caught Lewis Gibson. Dylan Easton found the bottom corner with a terrific penalty. Brian Graham almost equalised before the break. Dabrowski made a wonder save. It wouldn't be his last. The Raith keeper had to be his best to keep out Aidan Fitzpatrick. He then kept out a decent Harry Milne shot from 18 yards. Thistle were really pushing into the last 15 minutes, but they suffered a blow. Robinson sent off for that challenge on Aidan Connolly. Subrico Diak had a shot saved by Dabrowski again, but Josh Mullen from Raith hit the bar in the closing stages as they tried to get a second. It's managerless Raith who take the points. Full time, Raith 1, Partick 0.
Well, interesting result that one. In fact, full time whistles going everywhere. Let's move on quickly to Roger Hanna in Dingwall.
Remarkable finish. Ross County 1, Dundee United 1. Ronan Hale with his 4th goal in 4 games for County, rescuing a point in the 6th minute of added time here at the Global Energy Stadium. County had bossed the first half. Hale was denied time and again by inspired goalkeeping by United Jack Walton. In 24 minutes he was tripped by Walton in the box. Referee Craig Napier correctly pointing to the spot where his strike partner Eamon Brophy's spot kick pushed out by Walton to keep the score down. It was just incredible that the Staggies weren't ahead of the break, and in 3 minutes after the interval they were behind. Will Ferry, the creator, in from left wing back inside the box, fed a ball inside to David Babinski, and the United stand-in captain guided a lovely low shot past Ross Laidlaw into the far corner and knocked the stuffing right out of County. They were second best for much of the second half. Don Cowie tried to kickstart them again. He threw on Alex Samuel, he threw on Jordan White to try and get a goal. It didn't look as if it was coming. Then in 7 minutes of added time they suddenly burst forward. There were a couple of half chances, and then Samuel found space on the right hand side of the box. He flashed in a low cross, and there was Hale, signed in the summer from Cliftonville to replace Dundee bound Simon Murray, who netted from close range with the easiest of finishes past Walton to rescue a point that County deserved, probably solely for their first half performance. 2 games for County, 2 draws. 2 games for United, 2 draws. They'll both be desperate for a victory after the League Cup next weekend. Final score in Dingwall: Ross County 1, Dundee United 1.
Full time at Hampden, Andrew McLean.
Rangers 2, Motherwell 1, the full time score. It was a good first half followed by a pretty edgy second, but in the end it's Václav Černý who is the match winner for Philip Clement's side in his first start, meaning they kick off life at Hampden with all 3 points. Motherwell could have taken the lead just 3 minutes in. Lennon Miller should have hit the target but found the side netting from a good position. Rangers stepped it up a bit after that, somehow didn't score with a big double chance. Scott Wright had an effort brilliantly blocked on the line. It then fell to Cyril Dessers on the rebound, but that was saved well by Aston Oxborough. Dessers opened the scoring not long after that. Ridvan Yilmaz with a cross, Mohamed Diamandi with a header down, and Cyril Dessers turned the ball home for 1-0. The defensive organisation though hadn't been great, and that led to Motherwell's equaliser. They looked a bit all over the place as Motherwell got forward down the left. The cross came in, flicked on by the head of John Souttar, and Robin Proper on his Rangers debut diverted the ball into his own net. However, it was one of his fellow new recruits that got him out of jail, and what a goal it was as well. Václav Černý finding space, cutting in on his left, curling a fantastic effort past Oxborough for 2-1. In the second half, Rangers continued to dominate the ball, just really didn't create much at all, getting into the box a few times, just not able to get the shot away, having attempts blocked as well. Motherwell didn't venture forward too often, but in one of the instances where they did, there was a huge save from Jack Butland to keep Rangers ahead. 2 quick passes into the box found Zach Robinson in a good position. His shot was heading for the bottom corner, but the Rangers goalkeeper did really well to get low down to his left to tip it round the post. There was a bit of frustration on the sideline from Philip Clement and from some supporters in the stands towards the end of the game as well, but Rangers do get their first win of the season. The full-time score here at the National Stadium is Rangers 2, Motherwell 1.
Also full-time in Fraser Wishart's game at East End Park. Fraser?
Yeah, Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 2. The away side go home with the 3 points. 7,500 fans here, but a deserved win for the away side. They were ahead at half-time. They were excellent through a Ross McKeever goal. Dunfermline came back into it, but a Callum Morrison penalty towards the end settled things. They deserved ahead at the break. Falkirk 6 minute goal by Ross McKeever, created by a lovely Tate pass inside the full-back to young right-back Keelan Adams. He ran down the right-hand side, low cross turned into the net by striker McKeever from 6 yards. Falkirk looked more dangerous to score throughout the half. Miller, Oliver, Mackie, Tate all coming close. There's hardly a chance for the home side, and home fans were expecting more in the second half from their team after being so poor that first 45, and they were better straight away. Lewis McCann for low cross pushed wide by Hogarth. The keeper then again saved from McCann after he dropped a Joe Chalmers cross. Falkirk should have gone 2 up in 60. Lovely ball by Miller, put McKeever through on goal. He lifted the ball past the goalkeeper. It was a good chance and it drifted inches wide. Hogarth then had to be smart off his line to tackle Kane. The ball rebounded off the striker, but agonisingly just a couple of yards wide for the striker. Callum Morrison then came close, a really good 25-yard effort just over the bar. Few chances at either end until a Kane header forced Donaldson and forced Hogarth into a really good save. At 86 minutes it was all over. Bairns put the game to bed. Ross McKeever, he's back to goal, was tackled in the box. It was a clumsy challenge from behind. Referee McDermott pointed to the spot and up stepped Callum Morrison to send the goalkeeper the wrong way. Just stroked the ball low into his left hand corner. You get a feeling there's something good happening at Falkirk. 2,500 supporters sense it. They were in good voice to my right hand side, but the trouble mounting for Dunfermline. There were boos at the end. 5 defeats in a row, 2 league games, no points, no goals. It's going to have to change around very quickly for the home side. Full time at East End Park. Dunfermline 0, Falkirk 2.
And now it's over to you to have your say. 01419511025. That is the number you need, so let's hear from you, particularly Rangers fans and Motherwell fans, because that game was the big one in Glasgow in the West today. It's just finished. What did you make of it? Rangers fans, how happy are you with the 3 points? Was it all about the 3 points today? And if you were looking for more, then what about the performance? Because the second half maybe could have gone either way. There wasn't much to get excited about there. Does the performance bother you at all, or was it all about the 3 points ahead of Tuesday? Did Hampden play a part? What was the experience like? Share it with us, because we weren't there. So phone us right now if you can. By the looks of Hampden, lots of you left early, so you should be back in the car to give us a call on 01419511025. Partick Thistle fans, not a brilliant start to the season. You could get in touch. And then on to tomorrow. How are you Celtic fans feeling ahead of a trip to Easter Road? It's not a venue Brendan Rodgers has loved over the years, but you started that season so well last week. How do you feel today? 01419511025. And a nice bonus for your Saturday evening. You can watch Saturday's Phone In streamed on YouTube and your usual platforms, just like it is during the week. Get your calls in. We'll speak to you next.
After the action, it's your reaction. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
It's that time on a Saturday afternoon where you get the chance to react to whatever you've seen on the pitch or look forward to tomorrow's action on 01419511025. Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel are here, despite what I said just before the news. My apologies, you're going to have to go old school with us, radio only, no live streaming for you today. We'll be back as normal with that during the week, Monday night from 6 o'clock. Let's be honest, you don't really need to see Mark, Wilson, Gordon Dalziel and Hugh Keevins when you're trying to eat your dinner on a Saturday anyway. But we're here in the old-fashioned manner, so please do give us a call. Rangers fans, what did you make of today? Was it all about 3 points? Were you worried about the performance? Give us a call, 01419511025. How does it set you up for Tuesday? Motherwell fans, squad decimated by injury, conceded early. You probably feared the worst. Are you encouraged by some of the character shown? Might you have even snatched it, or snatched an equaliser with a couple of chances in the second half? You let us know as well. Partick Thistle fans. And then on to tomorrow. There's so much happening tomorrow. Celtic fans, how do you feel about a trip to Easter Road? The European participants get back involved, don't they? You Kilmarnock fans, St Mirren fans, I'd love to hear from you all, so let's not hang about. 01419511025. Hugh Keevins, what have you made of today so far?
I think there are a number of positives for Rangers at Hampden, but an equal number of negatives. Dessers scored again. No matter what you say about him, he scored against Kiev, he scored against Motherwell. The goal from Czerny was a thing of beauty, and his general play was highly encouraging with Tuesday in mind against Dynamo Kiev. Then we get to the negatives. Proper's own goal was a proper mess. We had Rangers defensively looking disjointed, uncoordinated, and that's a worry for midweek as well. I thought the second half Motherwell were the better team, and but for Jack Butland the game would have been drawn. I also noticed that by 5 minutes to go, Hampden was almost empty. In other words, the Rangers fans aren't buying into this team yet, and Tuesday now becomes absolutely crucial for a variety of financial and psychological reasons.
I think, Daz, I was going to say, I think at this stage of the season you're looking down those results and you're wondering, what are early season teething problems and what are signs or patterns of what's to come within teams. And I'm sure managers will say, well, it is teething problems and performances will improve and results may improve within that. But I just wonder if you're, from a fan's point of view, if you're seeing similar to what your team produced last season, are you thinking it's going to be a long old season? I'm not just pinpointing at Rangers, I'm looking throughout the results, but there's still a long way to go. But I think some fans will be unhappy with how their teams have performed in the early weeks of the season.
I think if you're a Rangers manager, you'll look back and think, okay, it was 3 points, it was their first game at Hampden, they've got a massive game Tuesday night. They'll just need to look at what happened, the injury list with obviously Proper at centre half limping off. Motherwell I thought showed great character, because it'd have been very easy when Rangers 2-1 first half, dominating most of the play, could have actually went under, but they showed good character. That could be a bonus for obviously Stuart Kettlewell. So and well done to Ross County, terrific equaliser in the last dying seconds of the game, and I'm looking forward to Dundee and Hearts now.
Right, 01419511025. I'll give you Dundee and Hearts team news, but let's get the eyewitness accounts from Hampden. Rangers fans, Motherwell fans, what did you make of it? Call us right now if you can, 01419511025. There's a lot to get round, I suspect, Rangers fans, because bits of it I'm sure you liked. Maybe there was bits of it you didn't like. Robin Proper's debut, scores an own goal, goes off injured, which might be more of a worry with Tuesday in mind. So let's go round it all. If you can hear any gasps from the studio, it's because they're distracted. They're watching the Community Shield. It's on penalties. It's 6-all, and in fact City have just won it 7-6. Akanji, it'd be nice if he'd stuck his penalty in the Euros away like that one, but he's managed it today. Scott McTominay scored for Man United, but City have won it. Johnny Evans with a really rotten penalty over the bar. And
curly toe, wasn't it? Centre half. Did not look good.
I've never seen someone float one over the bar. It was it was neither a Panenka or a normal strike. He just kind of floated it over the bar.
He just looked like he didn't want to be there, to be fair.
Truly dreadful. But anyway, we've got enough to focus on. I think let's get back to our main business. James is a Rangers fan from Drumchapel. What stood out for you today, James?
It's hard for me to say. First 25-30 minutes I thought Rangers played some good football, looked sharp, and then it just seemed to die a death. But I'm surprised that people are actually surprised that this team are on the firing all cylinders, because it's the same losers that are on that park, apart from 3 players, and barring Cherney and Proper. It just, for me, guys, I looked at that team today, and James Tavernier is about 3 or 4 yards off it now. He's no just. Anyway, guys, the amount of space that he gives that left-sided midfielder is frightening. Absolutely frightening. The whole defence, Suter is a bomb scare. Proper, I don't know what's obviously happened to him. I was at the other end. I was in a different postcode because I was behind the other goal. So I didn't even know that it was an own goal till I left the stadium. The only plus point I can take out of that is the boy Connor Barron. I think he's an absolute fantastic young footballer, and he was buzzing about that park the day. But for me, Clermont's tactics, I don't know what he's doing now, because he's had about 9 months now to try and get a style of play into Rangers. I can't see it. I don't know where he's going to take this team. It dumbfounds me, guys, that he's taking this long, because Michael Beale got ripped apart for it. But yeah, Clermont seems to be getting more time. He said another contract extension, and I don't know what's going on.
So obviously you're more performance focused than result, James. You know, there might be a school of thought out there that you take the 3 points, you move on, it's sandwiched in between 2 qualifiers for Champions League, but you're a bit more worried about the way it unfolded today. Yeah, because we're up against a Motherwell team. I think I caught you saying that, well, they're a makeshift Motherwell team, and we struggled against them because Andy Hardy is running the middle of the park. That's our pal you're talking about. I don't like that tone. But on a serious note, I get what James is coming from. Rangers probably did struggle in the end, Hugh, which is strange given the start. Usually it's about the start. You know, usually if you don't get going and the crowd gets on your back and whatever. But the lack of ability to press home an advantage in the second half is what's alarmed James.
James gave us the fans' eye view there, and I think he was accurate. For the first half hour, fine. For the remainder of the game, if I remember James' description correctly, they died a death. They were in the second half utterly anonymous. Motherwell could and possibly would have got a draw, but for one outstanding save from Jack Butland. All the concerns are there for Tuesday, and Tuesday is of crucial importance to Clermont and to Rangers, because first of all, if he beats Kiev, it frees up £4 million, which he can spend before the end of the window. It also puts him 180 minutes away from the Champions League itself, with tens of millions of pounds, which Rangers certainly need. By their own admission, they do not have money, and they need the Champions League. But defensively, questions all over the place today. And Robin Proper, this is not to sum him up in one game, but Robin Proper did not look like the kind of player who, even if he's fit enough to play on Tuesday, is going to be the difference between winning and losing for Rangers. Serious concerns at the back.
I think Hugh talks a lot of sense there for once. I really do agree with him. I think that he's looked at Rangers at the back. They look like they need a bit of work done. Now, James has come on, had a go at Tavernier. I defend Tavernier all the time in this programme, but I've got to say, I think the last 2 or 3 games I've watched him, he's been very poor indeed. I don't know what it is. He's just got off to a poor start. I totally agree with Suter. If it was me, I would probably play Proper and Balogun. I think Balogun's the best defender Rangers have got at this present moment in time. And you look in the middle of the park, I had big high hopes for Diamandi. I watched him against Union Berlin. He was absolutely brilliant, but he's not brought that form with him into the league campaign yet. And Lawrence is another one that you're expecting a lot more of. I think the big problem for Rangers is quite simple. I too agree. Every Rangers fan had this manager. They love the manager, rightly so. He's come in, he's doing what he's doing, but there's no style there at all, Gordon. I think they just play basic football. I think they go out and they think they've got better players than Motherwell, and they have. and they scraped through today. They dominated the first half. I thought they looked quite good at times, but I would be a bit concerned going into this game on Tuesday night. They'll need to up their game for me.
Do you find any positives, James, maybe in Václav Černy's first half performance and goal?
I think the only positive you can take out, we won and then the final whistle went. It's as simple as that for me. I just think that we need at least 4 or 5 quality better signings coming in. No a free transfer here, and that's the other thing. We shelled out £1.7 million on a player that hasn't even, I don't even think it's turned up at the training ground yet. And then Clement comes out with some daft statements like he's not ready for first team football. But wait till you see it's in October and November time. But I was for 6 or 7 points behind Celtic by that point. Oh, I really can't even wait till October. Do you know what I mean?
Is that maybe part of the point though? Might Rangers just have to dig in just now then, and if you can get 3 points whilst not being at your best, you take it for now. I get the point. You're not going to accept it all season, and by the way, it will catch up with you eventually. You know, you get that cliche, don't you? It's a good thing to dig out wins when you're not at your best, but over 38 games it catches up with you. That's the point. You can't do it for that length of time. But maybe just for now until...
Well, I think it's more acceptable, Gordon, when that comes midway through a season and you can accept that your club's going through a bit of a bad patch, and
your
squad's
not settled yet though, is it?
Well,
any squad, this isn't really just about Rangers. I'm wondering if
I mean, how many are they really going to add? Really, Hugh mentions the finances, so how many are Rangers really going to add? And a lot of those players that James mentions there have been at the club, and he's right to highlight the point that Philippe Clement's been there a long time. So I think you're entitled to ask, as a Rangers fan, like James has, what is going to change? If they are digging in just now, what is October going to look like? Are they going to get any better?
Change can only come about via finance. Finance can only come about if we make it to the Champions League. It doesn't matter, or it shouldn't matter, whether Rangers get hammered from pillar to post in the Champions League. They need the money to attend to matters domestically, and that's why Tuesday is crucial.
What I'd be asking, sorry Gordon's quite simple, I'll make it short and sweet. What is going on with Danilo? I can't understand how he's not getting minutes. I really don't. He's going to need the squad because there's a lot of games over the coming months, and he's not even looking like he's going to get a game.
Lots to chew over by the looks of it. Thanks to James for kicking us off. Gordon is on the other line. What did you make of it, Gordon?
Hi panel, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Pleasure.
To be honest with you, I was at the game there, and it's dire straits, real dire straits. We're in trouble. So disillusioned. I just don't see any pattern of play, any system that Clement's trying to play. I really don't see what is happening, and the alarm bells are ringing for me. It's really poor.
A recurring theme. Listen to the programme on Tuesday, and the theme for one or two supporters was, I'm not sure if he knows what he's doing, and some were even more explicit than that. So it's a big night for him on Tuesday as well, because as well as the financial aspect, the manager has to show that there is a discernible style of play, a style of play that will carry you to within the playoff round of the Champions League. So big night financially, big night for Clement on a personal level.
I mean, Gordon, again, it's the same. That there will be some, I don't know if they'll phone in, who will say, you have to take the 3 points, move on. There's no point in being too negative ahead of the Champions League qualifier. Is there anything in that? Is there anything in just trying to accept these wins at a time when the squad is a bit unsettled or not ready yet?
Well, you talk
I was
about
talking to Gordon on the line. Sorry.
Oh, sorry,
no, it's
my
not your
apologies.
fault. It was an easy mistake to make.
Right, on you go, Gordon. You probably talk more sense.
Come on, Dad, are you just reining it in a wee bit here?
Oh, sorry, mate. The floor's all yours.
No, listen, being on all honesty with you, I'm really, really struggling. Right, I can't understand, like the previous caller said, they hand Clement a new extended contract. For me, that's madness, right? Absolute madness. The guy hasn't done anything to merit that. He came in and he took care of the bill, which was just, you were watching through your fingers with that system or whatever he was trying to play. And then he did kind of steady the ship a bit, but we kind of a faltered towards the end of the season. I get there was tons of injuries, I understand that. But, it's just, I can't see, as a Rangers fan, it's killing me. I can't see how he's going to improve us and hand him an extended contract. If it doesn't go to plan this year, we don't have a lot of money to start with, but we've just extended this manager's contract by an extra season. If it doesn't go to plan and they're going to try and then get rid of him, it's only going to cost us more money that we really don't have. So where is the method and the madness in that thought, extending his contract?
It's very hard to disagree with that. I couldn't believe that. I don't see the sense in that. I really don't. To give him an extra year, I have no idea what they're thinking. Maybe it's just to say, right, everybody's in it together. It's a long term, but it's nonsense.
Fine. You can still have that thought. But we said at the time, there's no way it was a what's the word? A reward for outstanding performance. It couldn't possibly have been with the way last season ended. So we know it's not that. You don't have to agree with it, but it has to be something else.
But going back to a positive sign, if you're a Rangers fan, look, you're at a neutral ground today, playing your home games. First half, I thought Rangers looked decent and sharp. They didn't put Motherwell away. I think that's another fault that Rangers have got just now. They don't kill teams off quickly. But it's a 3 points, and it could be a big week for them, because obviously Tuesday night's coming up. If they go and win Tuesday night, everything's rose in the garden. If they don't, they will have some problems.
Thank you, Gordon. More of your calls next.
The games are over. The talking begins. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Gordon Dalziel, Mark Wilson reflecting on an interesting day in the Scottish Premiership, particularly at Hampden. Let me just very quickly, before we take more calls, just give you teams ahead of Dundee against Hearts, because it kicks off in 5 minutes. I can't believe it's sneaked up on me so quickly. So John McCracken in goal for Dundee, Portales, McGee and Larkesh. In the back three, Ingram, Cameron, Silla, McCowan still in there, and Tiffany across the middle. Same strike force as the Derby, Palmer, Holden and Murray. For Hearts, Xander Clark in goal, Oyegoke, Kent and Rolls at the back. That man Gerald Taylor and James Penrice, the wing backs. George Grant, Cammy Devlin, Barry Mackay and Lawrence Shankland and Kenneth Vargas up front. We're looking forward to that. We'll keep an eye on it. Who's been on the longest? It's just Stuart in Coatbridge. Stuart, was it a 3 points and move on, or are you concerned with the performance like the other callers?
No, I would say just 3 points and move on. I mean, it'd be a different case if they get beat or drew. We wouldn't be talking about this. But my point is about Hadji. The B team, he scored a hat-trick against Derby County, and his third was a free kick. And his performances in the World Cup as well. They say he's up for sale, but why are they going to let him go away to another team wherever he goes when he could be playing still first team football? I just don't get it. The guy's he's playing out his skin now.
Not in the eyes of the manager, clearly. Clement makes himself easily understood in these matters. Cantwell nowhere near it. He's made it clear he wants to go. Therefore, Clement just banishes him from his thoughts. Likewise, Yanis Hadji, the manager clearly isn't having him, and the Rangers, if they can get any money for him, that's the Ibrox model right now. Sell before you can buy.
What he did do yesterday was he shot down questions about a rumour that Hadji was going to be allowed to leave for free. He shot that down, said it's just a rumour, but he really didn't say much else about it. He's played with the B team today. That tells you kind of everything you need to know. Mark, as Stuart points out, scores the goals. It seems like there's two schools of thought here which you would understand. One is, can't be any worse creative wise than what we're witnessing currently. Surely he can get in that squad if we're just talking about, you know, the job that he could do. The other one is, and I know he's had injuries, I know he has, Yanis Hadji's been a Rangers player for quite a long time, and you sometimes wonder if players become better when they're not in the team, you know, and fans really clamour for them. But it is a strange situation.
I am baffled by this, and I said close season when we did the show with Andrew and we watched Romania in the Euros and Hadji was playing, and I said that'll be almost like a new player coming back to Rangers, and it'd be crazy not to play him because he's back fit again. Now, we all know he had his injury problems, but I think Hadji was a good player before he got injured, and he may have fell out of favour a bit under Michael Beale, but I think he's a creative player. I think he's one that if you do play, you would see a difference within the side. Again, I'm amazed. I know Philippe Clement sees him every day in training, but he must not see enough in him. He plays Scott Wright in those positions, and he's got Tom Lawrence in there. Kieran Dowell's coming off the bench. Are they better than Yanis Hadji, who represents Romania at the Euros? I'm shocked at that.
Stuart, you say it was all about the 3 points. You think there's an overreaction then, listening to some of the calls so far, a lot of criticism of the performance?
I think so. I can ask you a question.
Go for
a minute.
Okay.
Hugh, I would like to ask you this question. You were talking about Rangers if they beat Danny Cliff on Tuesday, excuse me, and they get between 4.5 and 5 million in the bank. Do you think they'll go for Shanklin?
No, I don't think that's a starter. I think if the manager, again, we're talking about his judgment, I think if he wanted Lawrence Shanklin, they'd be a Rangers player by this time. But it's so important, before we talk about who he'll buy, you have to have the money in the first place, and that's why Tuesday is crucial.
Ross is the next Rangers fan up. Ross, take it away.
Hi mate, how you doing? Can I speak to Hugh?
Oh, they're all listening, don't worry.
Yep.
Hugh, what do you think from the Rangers? Has Clement got it? Has he not got it? 1 minute we're winning, next minute we're drawing, next minute we're getting beat. Do you think he's got it? Because I don't.
Did win today though. Sorry to interrupt, Ross. Why is it so doom and gloom? You heard the previous caller.
It just doesn't seem as if he's got it for Rangers. Do you know what I mean? I think it's terrible.
I think the way last season ended, his approval rating dropped because the Rangers fans thought they had the title within their grasp, and then came the double whammy at Dingwall and Dundee, and Clement lost the place while Brendan Rodgers dug in for Celtic, and Celtic got the title. That was a big blow to the Rangers fans, and then to lose the cup final to Celtic deepened the gloom. This season, early on, the mood changed. The draw at Tynecastle was poor. Celtic winning the following day and handsomely made it even worse. But then the mood changed when Dessers scored in the final moment of the game in Poland against Dynamo Kiev. That mood, positive on Tuesday night, has now gone back again to being despondent.
Even though it was a win?
Even though, I think, because Motherwell were, you used the word decimated, Gordon, and it was accurate. This was not anything like a Motherwell first team, and yet they very nearly got a point. And Hampden emptied long before the end because the Rangers supporters, the rapport between the Rangers supporters and Clement is not there at the moment. And if he were to lose and go out to Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday, it would be very bad for him on a personal level.
What about the players, Ross? Who's taking the blame if you're not happy? You must have seen some good things, like Czerny as an example.
No, I like Dessers. Dessers is a brilliant player, but it's just that I think the Rangers manager needs to go. Sorry, he needs to go.
It's a bit early for that.
It's not even that. It's just you have to get to a realistic point where that conversation even begins. If a guy that's had a contract extension, we're 2 games into the season, and the biggest crime results wise is a draw at Tynecastle, you're allowed to think the style's not there or whatever. It's just not a realistic conversation to be having after a win.
No, it's not going to happen. You're right. I thought that the Rangers fans would have looked at the positive that they won the game. They get 3 points. Right. Apart from that, there weren't a lot to take out it. We've touched on it. A lot of fans left early. It shows you that they're not too impressed with the style of football. And we get back to that great phrase, the style of football. I don't know what Clement's style of football is, and he's been here for 9 months plus now. He's got some of his own players in there. I can't understand the Danilo situation. I totally agree with Mark about Hadji. You're not telling me he can't offer that squad something. I look at the Cantwell situation and I sort of side with the manager a little bit.
He doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to be there, so I side with him in that 100%. But there's just one or two. For me, Clement, the jury's still out for me. I've got to admit, sometimes I look and I think, yeah, he's a great fit for Rangers, and I think a lot of Rangers fans would agree with that. But then other times I just look and I don't see the direction he's going in.
Here are the two sides of the coin. Rangers go through against Kiev and go into the playoff round for the Champions League. Rangers go to Celtic Park and win. happiness. Rangers go out of the Champions League to Dynamo Kiev on Tuesday night, go to Celtic Park and lose, and Clermont doesn't win Celtic games. Clermont is in trouble.
Let's thank Ross and bring in Tommy. What's your take on it all, Tommy?
I think it's far too early to press the panic button. There's a whole lot of things you've got to take into consideration. First of all, I think Big Phil was sold a dummy when he came to Rangers. I think he was promised a war chest that never materialised. So maybe we should be looking at the board and guys like Dave King who'd usually shoot them out off. Another thing about today's game, you've got to remember, new players in and a lot of players on the park, that there's rumours about them leaving. So that all's got to be taken into consideration. If this was in the middle of December, I would press the panic button. But right now at the start of the season, while the transfer window is still open, but players might be coming and going, I think we've got to cut them a bit of slack.
Who are the ones, Tommy, there's every chance I just can't remember, but who are the ones that are being affected because you think they might be leaving?
Well, Tavernier, Wright, Butland, Yilmaz, they've all been linked with rumours to be bids going in for them or moving. So, and we've got Cantwell still there, we've got Raskin, we've got Hadji, they're all linked to be moving, but nothing's been set in stone yet. So I think we've got to wait till all this transfer window's shut and see how we go on.
I don't know if there's enough to see. I mean, Jack Butland,
terrific save today.
Has he really been linked with a move? Really though,
I think that's just to the transfer window being open,
distract him,
and being at Celtic and being at Rangers.
And again, Scott Wright, it's not speculation, as in, it's just, is he good enough to play for Rangers? That's what people are talking about. I don't know if we can cut slack to a point.
I think Tommy's right. I mean, it's too early to be pressing the panic button, but I think it's Rangers supporters that are coming on, and you guys have mentioned that Hampden emptied pretty quickly, and they're there to be entertained.
To be fair, someone messaged to say it's just because it's a nightmare trying to get home from Hampden.
I totally agree with that.
As by the way, I would agree in that point. But I think also the argument, like 9 months Philippe Clement's been there, and he's had a close season to work on. Again, going back to the point, they want to be entertained, they want to see a progression in the style, and even the players that come in, I get that it might take a bit of time to fit to the style. But you look at even Conor Barron's just new in the door, but he seems to be dealing with it okay. But again, it's so pedantic. It's the same old ship out to Tavernier, ship out to Yilmaz, and pop it in the box and hope that your striker scores. I think you've got to be a wee bit better than that, and I think the Rangers fans are entitled again to want to see or wish that their manager can get something better.
Well,
on
I don't think helps as well, Mark, and I'm not making excuses. I don't buy into that. The one about the players that are leaving, I don't buy into that. I think they're fully concentrated. If that happens, it happens. But cutting them a little bit of slack without making excuses, they're playing their home games in a neutral venue, which doesn't help. 100%. I know Hugh will say that Rangers are better squad, better players, and they should be beating Motherwell. Well, they did beat Motherwell. It wasn't vintage, but I don't think playing at Hampden helps Rangers at all.
But the fans who were at Hampden and have called the programme tonight, none of them referenced Hampden. They were referencing the manager, his tactical approach, personnel. No mention of the stadium and its effect. That they're concerned by a team they watch on every pitch in Scotland, and they don't think that team plays particularly well on any pitch in Scotland.
Let's thank Tommy and squeeze one more in before the break. Stevens and Paisley, was there anything positive out there, Stephen? There's been a lot of negativity so far. It was a win in the end.
I would say the only bright spark to the start of the season is Conor Barron. He's looking for the ball. He's actually the only one that can pass a ball probably 5 or 10 yards. Whether someone else can control it's a different story, but he's a driving force, I believe, for us, wanting the ball from Suter proper today and actually looking forward for a pass. I think he's surrounded by duds, and I think it will be a long, hard season.
Conor Barron, bright spark. Mark, you always say it because you had him at Brecon, but anyway.
I knew he would be, and that's not for the time at Brecon, that's seeing him for Aberdeen. You could see what type of player he was. He's somebody that likes to link the play from the defence through the midfield, through to the front, takes it in uncomfortable situations, and that's what you need to be if you're going to be a midfield player, defensive midfield player, a big club. That's what you need to be in today's game, and possession based. However, I think he's doing it. I think Stephen's totally right. He's doing his job well. He's linking the play. It's what's ahead of him, I think, is the problem, and then the patterns in front of him. So he's getting the ball for the goalkeeper, he's getting the ball for the back wall, and he's comfortable in possession, and he'll take it in tight areas. It's what happens then going forward. So he's had no problem. He's had a good start, but Stephen's right. He could do with a couple more chipping in around him.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Rangers fans have bought into the boy. I think he's come in, terrific attitude. He goes about his business very well indeed. You can see he's a real decent player, real good find, good talent, good signing. But you can't do it all yourself. I look at the middle of the park. I was expecting bigger things from Diomande. I think he's a good player. Lawrence, I didn't see a lot of him recently. I think he had a good pre-season as well. So yeah, I think the caller's right. I think there's other players that will need to step up a little bit.
Stephen, what does this do for Tuesday? Does it have any impact? If it's a performance like that, are you worried that you go out, or do you think there will be a natural upturn anyway?
I think we may squeeze through, whether it's in 90 minutes or extra time, but I think everybody's still a bit. Nobody knows he doesn't know his best 11. I couldn't tell you what the team's going to be on Tuesday. I don't know if Jeff will come in. I don't know if I'd like to think Proper would start because he get minutes in his legs today, but I still don't think he knows his best 11, and that's quite disappointing as well at this stage where he's been from last season into this season as well. His subs are like for like. Like you're chasing the game today and you were chasing the game against Hearts. Danilo on the bench for €5 and a bit million, and you're sitting there scratching your head. I know he's come back for a long injury, but he's had a good pre-season, and I just don't think his subs today were anything good. I think we were looking to just camp in it the last 15 minutes, and it was all Motherwell, and it showed with the substitutions. We were just going for the 2-1.
We can squeeze one more in. Thank you to Stephen. Let's make it quick with Joe and Cumbernauld. Go on, Joe.
Hiya. It was just a couple of comments about the stadium being empty. I think that's just an easy thing to look at, because if that was Ibrox in the exact same situation, stadium would have been just as empty at 80 or 85 minutes. Didn't make a difference whether it was a good or bad performance. It's been the case for years, and there've been pundits in this show and other shows that will say, well, people pay their money to go, so they're entitled to leave at 85 minutes. It's just is. So I feel like drawn on that, it's like just not a point.
Was it not particularly empty? And I kind of agree with you to a point, Joe. I've got no desire to count and then compare every game, and there's different circumstances, and getting out of Hampden's a pain, but just generally, did it not feel, if it's the first game at Hampden, it's early in the season, try and sort of, did it not feel particularly empty?
No, I don't think so. I might have been. I'm trying to be a wee bit more pragmatic with it, and it's just it happens all the time. That's not a big issue for me. Like, folk get annoyed at it, but it's not something that I get annoyed at. I get more annoyed, like everybody else today, when you look back at, let's say, like the last 3 or 4 managers that Rangers have had. They all have a distinct style, or you can see a pattern. Whether it's good or bad is up for debate, but we just don't really see that just now. Think about Gerrard and Michael Beale and Gary McAllister. Rangers, under them in Europe, they played with 3 in the middle. They pushed people wide. They were quick in the counter. They forced people wide because they knew they could deal with the balls into the box. What do we have over the last 2 managers that we can say is anything like that? Not stylistically, but from a repeated pattern, from a style of play, from you might change a player and their individual tendencies might be a wee bit different, but they're going to be doing roughly the same job. They're going to be there to do something. We could have that. That annoys me more than the empty stadium.
It's a fair point, well made. Thank you to Joe. We'll take a breather and do more of your calls. We can look ahead to tomorrow if you so wish. We'll do it next.
After they play, you have your say. 0141 951 1025. Clyde One Super Scoreboard's open line.
Hugh Keevins, Mark Wilson and Gordon Dalziel reflecting on today's action, looking ahead to tomorrow's, and Ryan is going to join them on the line. How are you, Ryan?
Hi there, fine, mate.
What's your point tonight then?
Just on Danilo, basically. Danilo's had a pre-season, and obviously he's not had a chance yet the last 3 games. MD's been out for a long time. It's usually bedded into the team. What's happening?
Danilo one is an interesting situation, Gordon, because Rangers have now played 3 competitive games. He's the only other striker, and he's had 0 minutes. Add to that, Philippe Clement was asked about it, and he said his explanation was it can be a bit harder if you are not winning the game, which has been the case at Tynecastle and against Dynamo Kiev. It wasn't the case today, though. They were winning the game and he still didn't come on. Is that something to look at, or are people focusing on it too much?
I think Rangers fans are quite right to focus on it, Gordon, because it baffles me in the fact that you've got a striker there you paid a lot of money for. You're asking Dessers to play every game, probably every minute, and you've got a striker sitting that's come back for injury, desperate probably to go on the pitch, get some minutes. I'm not talking about starting him, I'm talking about last 20 minutes. You're not telling me that he's not fit enough to come on and contribute, but we've seen nothing of him. I'm not really buying into that. What the Rangers manager said, that it's difficult if you're not winning games.
No, but even at that, if that's his reason, that's his reason.
Yeah, fine.
But it's now
but they were winning
today,
games. Yeah, they're winning games, and you still don't see any sign of them. I'm like the Rangers fans. I don't understand it. I can't grasp it at all.
I mean, Ryan, there was a lot going on today. There's been a bit of a mixed bag. A lot of Rangers fans not happy with the performance, others pointing out that it was a win and you've got to take it and move on. How do you feel overall?
A win's a win. I'm just glad to get the 3 points. It's poor, but every game I'll take 2-1 to the end of the season. We just need to look at, we've not got a number 9 to replace Dessers. Danilo's no fully fit. He's not going to do 90 minutes every week, so if Dessers gets injured, we've not got him to help.
Yeah, remember, it's interesting to see what happens with Robin Proper. Maybe it was just a precautionary one and he goes off, but he did go off today, so we'll see how he fares. Let's hear from Philippe Clement actually on the performance today.
I saw very positive things today. We started excellent with good football, with good running actions, with the right choices on the ball, and then you need a little bit luck to score early, what was not the case because we had 2-3 chances in the first minutes already. But we keep on playing with a good tempo on the ball, not giving away transitions. Then you get one moment across in the box where you have the worst scenario that you can have. One defender touch the ball, the other defender touch the ball, and the ball goes really in the corner of the goal that Jack cannot save. So it was really an unlucky goal to get against, but it didn't create any doubt in the team to get a victory. The only thing we missed today, I think, is to score a 3rd or 4th goal, what we deserved.
I take him up on 2 things that he said there. First of all, he said there were some very positive things. Name them. And secondly,
well, if pressed, I'm sure he would say the way they started, the goals they scored, Czerny, etc.
Secondly, he said good tempo. Not sure about that, Philippe. The second half was a total washout, and Motherwell were the better team. And but for the goalkeeper, it would have been a draw.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one. Managers sometimes have to be like politicians when they come out and they have to say certain things to try and get the support on side. But the Rangers supporters know what they're watching. I think he's right in the fact that they did start well. They created chances, no doubt about that. Czerny scores a good goal. But then it's the period just before the end of the half, all the way through that second half, it would be alarming because the tempo wasn't there. The chances that they conceded were big opportunities for Motherwell. They relied on their goalkeeper to pull off a top-class save in the closing stages. Those are the concerning things that he omitted from that post-match interview.
Still goalless Dundee against Hearts. About 18-19 minutes gone in the sunshine in Dundee. No goal scoring incidents yet. Let's go to Brendan, who's a Celtic fan. What are you thinking ahead of tomorrow, Brendan?
I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think we're in good shape. I think we still need a couple of guys coming in. We've got help up front. That'll possibly come with Ida, and I think that'll happen before the window closes. But no, I think we're definitely in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, last week, Brendan, the nature of the win, the performance, does that fill you with confidence going to Easter Road, even though it's not been a brilliant venue for Brendan Rodgers over his time at Celtic?
Yeah, because I just think that we're playing with confidence. The signing of Schmeichel's been fantastic. You know, he just we absolutely adore Joe Hart. You know, as I say, I think we've upgraded. You know, I think because of Schmeichel's ability to play the ball out, you know, we've possibly upgraded there. And I just think that, you know, things are looking positive for us. You know, so can I talk something else, Gordon? I took advantage of the day off today, the game being off today, the game being tomorrow, and I took my two kids down to see Morton against Hamilton, the championship. £30 for myself and the two kids. An absolutely fantastic experience. The guys are right up next to the pitch. They loved it, you know, and it was 0-0. I'm getting a dog's abuse on the WhatsApp, Jack. I'm getting called the new Fraser Wishart. You know, so. But what an experience, and you know, if you've got it, if you can afford it, guys. I know it's a hard time at the moment, but if you can afford it, guys, get out and support another team. You know, give a wee bit into their coffers, because my two absolutely love. They're in the car behind me now. Here, they're sitting behind me, and they're absolutely a great experience. You know?
I love it. Brendan and his kids are football purists, enjoying 0-0s. I don't mind that.
At Capello,
I'd go and watch a random game. I like that.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Kids are behind him wishing he used that £30 for the cinema.
Not at all.
Would you take his there for?
Not at all. Brendan's confident ahead of tomorrow, Hugh, and understandably looking at last week's performance.
Well, yeah, last week's performance outstanding. Tomorrow, a venue that Celtic find difficult, even against a Hibs side who struggle badly. Kelty Hearts, a hammering off St Mirren last weekend. They struggled at Easter Road last season and were bailed out by 2 goals from Adam Ida. Why Adam Ida is not yet a Celtic player is beyond me. And everyone makes the assumption, yes, it'll be all done. It's moving closer. It's been moving closer forever. Celtic's transfer window has been, by their standards and given the money they have, disappointing, and the supporters must be able to see the glaring need for someone up front beside Kyogo or to replace Kyogo, and must see the need for another central defender beside Carter Vickers, and they must understand that the Champions League requires an upgrade in player before it begins. Otherwise it'll be the same old, which is Celtic get turned over home and away.
Probably one more for midweek, Gordon. In the meantime, it's really about Hibs tomorrow. Adam Ida won't be there, no one else will be there, but Celtic fans loved what they saw last week, and if they get anything close to it, even if Hibs improve, it's going to end one way.
Yeah, I don't think many people will fancy Hibs to upset Celtic tomorrow. I thought they look very sharp indeed. They've got quality all over the pitch. You look at the middle of the park, they're terrific in there. Kyogo will be looking to start banging the goals in. Look, it's always difficult away from home, but I just think the way Brendan Rodgers has come in after the pre-season, the way they played against Kilmarnock, they're looking so sharp. And obviously Kuhn had a pre-season, looks a lot better as well. Everything's going the sort of favour of Celtic, and to be honest with you, I cannot see them losing tomorrow.
Dundee have taken the lead as Scott Tiffany cuts in on that right foot. He's been rewarded for a bright introduction off the bench in the derby. Cuts in on the right foot, fires it low. Xander Clark might be disappointed. It goes into his near post, but Dundee take the lead.
He'll be disappointed with the kick that led to the goal. Kicked it straight to Dundee, yeah, and then McCowan straight to Tiffany, who gives him the lead.
I'm looking at the television pictures and I'm thinking to myself, what is that? It's the pitch. The pitch is beautiful. The pitch is absolutely beautiful, and
Tiffany, it's a howler from Xander Clark initially.
Tiffany has made the most of it, and that's a terrific start for Tony Docherty.
Yeah, I agree. But it's all down to the goalkeeper. He fluffs his lines, and by the time he gets back in, he gets punished. Tiffany, he's not bothered. He cuts into his right foot and he just gives the goalkeeper a good finish. I've got to say, good start for Dundee. I thought they've looked very sharp at the beginning of this game.
Well, that's your Saturday almost over. One game ongoing, as you've heard, but Rangers beat Motherwell 2-1 at Hampden. The 3 points are on the board. Still lots of questions, if you believe our phone lines, about elements of the performance. But the 3 points are banked onto Europe. We focus on Dundee Hearts just now, and then on to tomorrow. What will Celtic do at Easter Road? There are other big games involving Kilmarnock and St Mirren off the back of their European participation as well. So still plenty of mileage left this weekend. We look back on it all on Monday night from 6 with Roger Hanna and Andy Halliday. Enjoy the rest of your night. The GBX is up next.
The Clyde One Super Scoreboard Podcast.
With Lucas Volvo. The full electric range is now available on Motability.
Oh, watch out for the dragon! Thanks, mate. Close one. Come on, man, I got your back. I'm dead.
No! We'll fight in your name, Magic Monk.
Good luck, fellow knights. I'll catch you guys up.
Oh no, my liege! Hello, who's that? Keith, or Dragon Slayer 42 at your service. Welcome to the clan, my friend. Yes, you've got it. Go, go, go. Come on, Dragon Slayer, smashed it.
3's network is 5G, so yours can slay level 53.
Oh no, my liege! Well played, Keith.
Life needs a big network. 3.
Get in pole position for cheaper van insurance. With mustard.co.uk. With top insurance providers, a 5-minute pit stop with us could get you out in front in the race to savings. See what you could save and compare your van insurance today with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.